Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. So, I just want to say before we get started, tonight is a topic that brings out the emotions in a lot of people. So, I would appreciate it if, all opinions are welcome, but please just give your opinions respectfully. Um, whatever it is, put it in the chat. That's fine. As long as it's respectful, it'll be there. Mods, you guys know, don't remove anything unless it's really, really bad. Tonight we have I have invited several special guests. I know that some of them are sick, some might show. We'll see. And a couple of them are already here. So we're gonna get started and we're gonna talk about this situation with hidden true crime. So I know that you guys know, I don't even need to explain, but in case you live under a rock and you don't, a very large true crime creator that goes by the name of Hidden True Crime came out 6 days ago with this 9-hour live stream. I can't stay silent anymore. I'm being stalked and bullied and fear for my safety. Then she went on several other panels, and it's a huge discussion right now in the true crime community. And I thought, what better way to have a discussion about this than to have a bunch of creators, and many of them have been on here for years and years, join and give their thoughts and opinions on, I mean, on what's happening. And it kind of ties into so many other things that are happening and have happened on social media. So let me go ahead and bring up who's here now. Let's see. We have Amber Truth Seeker and Jen Liu. If you don't know who these ladies are, I'm going to drop their links. I think you guys will really enjoy all the channels that are here tonight. And yeah, thank you guys for being here. Hello.
Hi.
Hi,
Thank
Bandy.
you for having me, and hello to chat.
Hey. Passion for Victims, thank you for joining. And Tracy, thank you for joining. Welcome, you guys. Okay, so, at first, I wasn't going to talk about this. And Jen, I know you weren't either. I asked her, are you going to talk about this? And she's like, hell no. This was just in the first day of it breaking. But I do think when a huge creator, that is well known for good true crime coverage, right? Factual stuff and going really deep in some of these cases that so many of us have followed. When they come out with this 9-hour live stream, two other large trusted channels, I think it's something that we just can't ignore at this point, and it's better to just discuss it, you know?
Yeah, there's no ignoring this, literally. And it's like a rabbit hole even outside of this 9-hour live stream that I've just fallen down, and I'm like, what is going on? And it really has kind of taken a grip of the whole community of true crime right now, because like you said, it's like a huge channel, a trusted channel for factual information from everything that I've seen. I started following them when they did the Lori Vallow case, and it was really, really compelling coverage. And to be honest, I mostly watched it for her husband's insights and stuff like that. But yeah, I just am like, I don't know. I have so many thoughts, and I was the same as you guys. As I was like, well, I'm not gonna talk about it. But as soon as you asked, I was like, yes, I just can't. It's just so much that everything I'm taking in with everything. Like I said, even outside of her 9-hour stream, I'm looking at it from all angles, pretty much.
Right. Which I'm glad that you're looking at it from all angles. And I want to hear what you think, Jen. But first, I just want to say it's funny you say for her husband, because I was just talking earlier with someone kind of about that. I think a lot of people really have appreciated and enjoyed his input on a lot of this stuff. But Bendy, what do you think?
I agree. We can ignore it if we wanted to, right? But it sparked such I'm really I guess I shouldn't be, but I am surprised at how divided people are. They are firmly on they view it one way or the other. Do you know what I mean? I don't like to say on one side or the other, because to me, the only side for me personally is truth. The truth is just the truth. That's it. That's all. Right? There's their side his side, her side, and then there is the truth and the, so for me, that's the side I lie on. I want to go with, okay, I hear what you're saying. Where's the receipts? I need to see evidence. I need to see documents. I want to hear, um, all of the things.
Mhm.
Right.
And it comes
Now,
to situations like this, it's very emotional. It's a lot like true crime. There are cases that just get you emotionally for one reason or another. Either you, like for me, for Gannon, okay, Gannon, what happened to him was so egregious. It's, my heart breaks for every child who is murdered, especially, and it's particularly difficult when they're murdered by somebody that they trusted, a parent, a step parent. Letitia, we're looking at you. So but stalking is another area where it is part of true crime. It does happen. There have been many cases. I mean, the case that I can remember off the top of my head that's the oldest case that I can remember off the top of my head is oh God. Now it just went blank. She was in Poltergeist, Dominique Dunn's daughter. That was a case. The girl from My Sister Sam. These happened in the 80s. And anyway, so I think it can be really emotional, and people can identify
well,
with feeling unsafe or having unwanted attention. And I've been watching through the chats and stuff how many people, and it breaks my heart. Rebecca Schaefer, thank you, Jay. How many people have experienced stalking? It kind of
yeah,
like shocked
it
me a
does
little
bring,
bit.
it's definitely, you're right, a subject that really brings out the emotions because, and you don't realize, it's just like domestic violence. You don't realize how many people have been through that. And Melissa, I'm so glad that you joined. And this kind of
Hi,
brings that up
thanks.
in everybody.
Oh, your
Right in the middle of
avatar
my
is
sentence.
adorable too.
Love it.
Thanks. Tess made it for me last year and I dug it out from retirement.
I remember it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, guys.
And just
So-
to add to about so many people being stalked, just want to throw in there something that
Yeah.
Jen was talking about in our private text is how broad Utah's statute to stalking is.
Right.
Like it seems like it's much more loose than other states that could qualify as quote unquote stalking.
Well, it's interesting, Nunya. I don't know why she believes it was stalking, even if I disagree. I think that's pretty interesting, and it's crazy how state to state things do change. People don't even realize that the laws can be so different. I just want to say though, before I forget, if you haven't, Chasing, the comment on the side on the screen, she says, I've read both sides, watched the TikTok, listened to Lauren on the panels and her own. I think she is emotional. Yes. Afraid? I don't know. Maybe. Is it stalking? In my opinion, no. I'm dropping her link right now. If you guys haven't seen, she did a live stream and she went through the girl's TikTok. She went like through both sides fairly with no opinion. And it was very good.
You have to.
So please, yeah, you do,
and I agree with like everything she just said in that comment. Like that pretty much after the rabbit hole of in and out that I've been doing for the past like 6 days, I'm like, and especially after listening to the hearing and all that I sent you guys, the audio for that, it's like, I'm here to hear your guys' thoughts too, though.
Yeah.
But I agree with Chasing.
I do too. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have to say that after hearing the audio, I have to agree. I needed to hear everything before I was willing to come out and say how I felt, because I wanted to hear all of it. And Ali is absolutely correct. Chasing did a phenomenal job going through the TikToks from the other side and and putting together a good timeline about when things happen in a way that's very easy to follow and understand, and you don't get like distracted, or you're not inundated with so much information that you're like, bruh, I can't. So
Right.
go definitely check that out, but not right now.
Yeah.
Let's come listen to Allie first. Then go check that
Well,
out.
first, let's listen to. I'm curious, Melissa. Like, what was your first thoughts when you first saw this? Because we kind of just gave that, and yeah, just what were your first thoughts? What are you kind of thinking before we get into this? Because I have a list of different points I want to hit and get y'all's thoughts on, but just like overall and initially.
No. That was my first thought.
Just no.
Well, I think that it's a very prevalent discussion right now because it's something we're seeing more and more as far as online harassment, defamation, and stalking. With that being said, I do not think it is stalking. Now, is there a case for potentially harassment and defamation? Sure. I'm not 100% sure, but that's so far what I would align with more. As far as, do I believe that a stalking has occurred? No. And I wholeheartedly disagree with immediately coming out and saying my stalker, my stalker, my stalker, because this person legally is not a stalker. And you gave up that right the moment that you decided to dismiss a case, whether it was for a legitimate reason, whether it was for a reason I don't agree with. This person has not been deemed a stalker by the court of law. And so that's wrong. And I think weaponizing a very large platform and bringing attention essentially when that's the exact opposite of what you want to do, I cannot understand that, nor can I understand going live and presenting a case with exhibits
Yes.
and then not moving forward with your own case that would end in protection. It would result in protection, right? So like I said, no. My first thought was no.
Interesting. Yeah.
And the whole thing of, well, she was protecting her son's medical information, so that's why she backed away, because she saw law and crime were there, like ready to film and etc. report on it, which is what she does also for a living. And then, like we've discussed ourselves, HIPAA protects that information. Law and crime would not have included that.
They were not going to live stream. She claimed they were going to live stream. That is not true.
Thank you, Melissa. They wanted to record it.
Yeah.
And this is where the problem and wherein lies the problem. When somebody is going to record a hearing, it's one thing to live stream. When you're live streaming it, there's no edit. There can be a delay, but there's not an actual where you move parts of what happened around. Actual editing, really editing. So if it's a live stream, then whatever happens, right? And the public, whoever's watching, they see it. They see it in real time, maybe on a delay. But if it's going to be recorded, then you have the editing, and it can be put together any kind of way. Do I think Law and Crime would have put together any kind of way? No, I don't. But for that part of it, I don't understand why she said it was going to be live streamed. They wanted to be the pool. The pool means that Law and Crime is the one that has the feed, and everybody is streaming from their feed. So let's say I got a hold of it and I said, you know what? Because I cover trials all the time. And I got a hold of it and I said, all right, I'm going to stream this. Everybody could stream it from Law and Crime. And
we saw that with Coburg, or I think it was Court TV that got the approval. Exactly. And then everyone can stream from Court TV, right?
Exactly. But I want to point out something else that's very important. I've covered trials, so I can speak to this. There has only ever been once, where a minor was testifying. Right. They were a direct witness. They were a witness for the state who witnessed their mother being murdered. It was a little boy. I will never forget it. Why I can't remember the name of the case right now, I cannot. It's still up on either Law and Crime or Court TV. His testimony is he was like 9 or 10 years old. That is the one and only time I have ever seen it happen
Right.
like that. Every other time, sometimes they will close the courtroom completely.
Yep.
But for damn sure, a child, a minor, would not be recorded. We just streamed the most recent trial was Karen Reed's. John O'Keefe's niece and nephew testified. Guess what? We didn't hear it.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned it earlier to Allie. I was talking, and I don't appreciate her saying, well, what I do is different. Now, I'm not going to disagree. Of course, it would not be great to have a civil protection order or stalking order injunction streamed. Of course, you wouldn't want your intimate details out there. I don't disagree with that. But with that being said, she said the difference is between what she does is that this is a civil stalking injunction, and that should not be streamed or publicized because there is an active threat, the same way that you wouldn't stream a child custody hearing. Those are streamed all the time, just so people know. Like, yes, it varies state by state as far as, but you could go onto YouTube right now, and there are states that actively their judges have their own YouTube channels, and you can watch active custody cases or TPOs hearings all day long,
Family court.
all day
Yep.
long. So it's not unique. Now, again, that doesn't mean I can't sympathize or empathize with that. I can, but that doesn't mean that you're special and that, because especially with the coverage that she does, you can't have your cake and eat it too, in my opinion.
No, you cannot. Well, here's the thing. For one, first of all, you're 100% right. I remember when you were like, well, all I've been watching lately for entertainment is Family Court and some
I
random
listen to it all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And look, I can understand and appreciate and sympathize and empathize as well that it would be hard to have your personal experience out in the public or live streamed. I get that. But a lot of people feel that way, and theirs is, it happens all the time. It does. And here's the thing. If there's an active threat, well, think about, there's a case I'm covering right now, Kata Scott. The man who's been arrested has other victims that are alive. Isn't that an active threat? You know what I mean? And I will say, Hidden True Crime, the one experience, and I've had with them directly, I covered their interview of Stephen Stern's parents. They came in the chat and they were super cool about it, very kind, and joined the conversation even, and gave different points like along the way. But look at that case. That's a horrific case. Maddie was abused for years and years. I'm sorry, but I can't think that this is like worse than that. And you know what I mean? Like, and shouldn't be, I don't know. It's not fair. And it's not a right way to look at it, in my opinion. I know that it would suck, but it's just part of it.
And I think they are nice. I think for them, they might, nobody's perfect, but I think that they mean well from everything that I've seen. Like, I don't see like evilness from, you know what I mean? Just because I'm like not on agreement with her being like stalked doesn't mean that like I'm demonizing them. You know what I mean? But I just think from all angles of this situation, it's very like unhinged, like from all angles.
It's petty. Yeah. In my opinion, it's petty. And when I say that, I'm not trying to minimize what she may feel, because it may seem petty to me and it may be the biggest thing to her, but I don't like demonizing Law and Crime. Law and Crime didn't do anything wrong. They really didn't. Everyone is so outraged, yet this is what they do all the time, and everyone's fine with it when it's something they're interested in watching until it may pertain to you. But they didn't do anything wrong. And like I said, I didn't like the let me weaponize almost 400,000 people and expose something that really wouldn't have gotten any attention if you hadn't done that. So I don't really see it as taking your power back. I would maybe feel differently if it had gained traction first and then you come out. But when you're saying that you're stalked and you need help, yet you dismiss the one avenue that's going to get you that help, and then instead try it in front of court of the public opinion, and you have that following, you have that army, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
It is. Well, when I clicked on y'all, and I mean, think about if you saw me, because the first thing I saw was her sitting in the bed crying. I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? You're used to, like, even me, and I'm nowhere near as professional, not even close. But imagine you clicked on my channel and seen that. You'd be like, oh my God, what happened? Right. And it's 9 hours of, the stalker. And I did look that up, and we're going to, after we discuss this some, we're going to read like the exact definition by that in Utah. But I mean, it's just beat into your head. Then you go on to Duty Ron's channel, who is a very well respected. I appreciate Duty Ron.
I
loved
love
his
Duty
channel.
Ron.
Yeah, for a long time. You go on
Yeah,
Duty
you guys
Ron.
already know I love Duty Ron, and
Yeah.
I really, honestly, can I just say, just because I mod for him and I've just been seeing like him getting dragged over this, like I feel like he and many others, even Jay, my mod in chat, who like we look at crime all the time. You guys know that, and different personalities involved in these crimes. I really think that there's a good majority of people, including maybe even web sleuths, that have been emotionally manipulated by all this.
Mhm.
And
That's what I
this
think.
is, I was a little concerned with someone like Lauren, who has a massive following on Black and White. She looks really reputable, really credible. And because I thought about that even going into court with the alleged stalker and having no following. And I'd be nervous because I'd like to believe that the credentials and what someone may appear to be won't be a factor, but let's be real, it does. It can. And so that might be a factor too, where it's like, well, this is a really reputable person. Look at who she's married to, look at all the places that she's been on. Obviously, we're going to believe her, right? But really, if I'm going to be honest, we haven't heard a word from the alleged stalker, and that shows more self restraint. I'm just saying. And I don't agree with the TikToks. I think it's really petty, but that's as much as it is. It's petty. And you can't control free speech. That is free speech. And
Yep.
yeah. So
People are allowed to talk about their experience with you. If you don't want people to talk about it in a bad way, don't give them a bad experience. Don't be an asshole. Don't talk shit about people behind their back. Like, people are allowed to vent. Sometimes we may not like it. If you disagree, you can always respond. And there are avenues to take if they lie on you legally. But this just isn't the avenue. And Clicker had said, you have to agree, though, that when someone tells you to leave them alone and they keep coming at you the way they did in public, it's not right or adult-like. No, it's not.
but it's the internet. Welcome to the internet.
And I also add in another thing about her TikToks I noticed is, and it was misinterpreted. Like, she said something about the term clock it, and Lauren like interpreted that as like physical like act, and it's like that's not what clock it means. It's like a slang term for like check it, you know what I mean? Or like I just noticed that like she misinterpreted it because she like was speaking on something in her TikTok and like mentioned that, and I was like, oh, I think that she thinks that means what it doesn't mean. And her name has never been mentioned in any of the TikToks.
And that's true, Nanya. I don't disagree with that. That's possible.
She said,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the TikToks are also unhinged, but I also think that friendship breakups sometimes are worse than relationship breakups, and that's all I see.
Right. She wasn't tagged, sorry, but I don't think they're that unhinged. Like, maybe I'm very desensitized, but I don't think they're that unhinged. She wasn't tagged. She claimed she was tagged. Her name was never used. She claimed that it would be very obvious it was directed at her and ruining her business. I'm sorry, I have not seen evidence of any of that.
Right. Well, the shit that we see in this community, and listen here, because Nanya actually made this point to me earlier, and she's 100% right. The shit we see in this community is so much worse. We are desensitized. Like, people treat each other terribly on the internet, and there are constantly things happening that me, you guys on the panel, my other friends in the chat will say, we don't agree with this, we don't agree with that. Oh, then you're so much better than everybody, or the hall monitors or whatever. Unhinged shit happens all the time. That doesn't mean that it was like, if it's the first thing she's been through, because Nanya had said, well, what if she hasn't been through anything like that? Like, this is the worst for her. And I do see that side, and I feel
that's fair.
sorry for her. Like, it sucks that she's going through that, but then that ends, my sympathy for that ends when you come on. And now, I mean, what is Christina going through? I cannot imagine the people that are coming at her and the shit that's being said about her.
You didn't like, I could understand if you followed through with the case, and despite the outcome, then you maybe still come on and share your story. What I do not understand is you claiming you need help. That's literally what her stream was. Please, I need help. I have a stalker. I am scared. I am afraid. Yet, because of fear of the public having knowledge of these intimate details, I am dismissing this. And I'm going to move forward in a couple of days with coming on and sharing all those details I was scared that I was going to get out. And I'm going to go through all of these exhibits. That screams to me one side. That screams to me it was not fear of it getting out in the public, even though I absolutely will believe you'd prefer it didn't. Trust me, I get that. I've been there, done that. I get that. It's uncomfortable, it's horrible, it's miserable. But I cannot understand having a fear of those intimate details coming out while proceeding and sharing those intimate details, but completely letting go of the part that would get you protection. That makes no sense to me.
No.
And just to add on everything you just said, I've seen the comments coming up. So I guess she was hashtagged, but the thing that is important to remember, like, this girl only had like 100 to maybe 500 people following her on TikTok when this all
Has
started.
anyone seen that, Amber? I have not seen
I
anything
haven't seen it.
hashtagging her.
I
have
haven't
not
seen it
seen
either,
a
but people are
hashtag
claiming-
at all
Yeah, I have not seen
And
any
She
hashtags.
hasn't posted in how long?
since October 9th is the last thing I heard.
And another thing I'd like to add that people were discussing is the cops and them not doing something about her breaking the protective order at CrimeCon. Like, that's totally on Aurora, Colorado. Like, if they were in seeing all this and knew that she had why wasn't something done? Like, the anger should be towards that situation then. Like,
Well,
if there was, because everyone keeps saying, but she broke the protective order by going there. And another thing I'd like to add about what I noticed at this CrimeCon stuff is the alcohol on, and don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything wrong with drinking, but it seems as though it could have escalated their behavior, in my opinion. Them like crying and the hysterics and like,
oh yes,
call the
I could
cops
see
and
that.
walk up to the car. Like, and then I see all these lemon drops on the freaking table.
Right. With any humans, that will happen. I totally agree with you about that. Bendy, you've been quiet for a minute. You want to say anything else before I move on to my next little point I wanted to ask you guys about? Okay.
This is what I don't understand. What would the outcome be of telling the general public about this situation? Because I'm not in law enforcement. Even if I was in law enforcement, I don't live where she lives. So I don't understand what was to be accomplished by bringing it public and hashing it out essentially in the court of public opinion. The public can offer her no closure. We're in no position to get this woman to stop. The only thing that would have happened, the only outcome that could have happened, there's two outcomes. All right. One, she could have all the people that sympathize and see it her way. And I shouldn't say sympathize because there's a couple of other things I want to say, but I'll just keep it brief because I feel like I talk too much. But there's two possible outcomes. The people that saw it her way would flood the other girl's TikTok and leave her hateful comments? Okay. How does that change anything? How does that fix anything for how does that make Lauren feel better? How does that provide Lauren any measure of safety? If anything, even if Lauren, and I believe that she did, said, don't go over there, don't da 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 da, don't, don't talk to her, don't, don't confront her, blah, 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 right? Okay. We all know that there will always be people who don't give a rat's fat kneecap what it does for the other party. They're going to go over there and express their outrage and their anger, and they do. Okay. What else is that? What other than that, what would the outcome have been? The general
Damage
public
control.
can't solve anything for her, right? Damage control. But you
Damage
have to be
control.
willing to take, okay. But then you
Mhm.
have to think about it as, but then there are always going to be the people who are like, I hear what you're saying. I saw what you showed, but I feel that there's more.
Well,
Where's
then
that
we
information? And that's what's
parasocial
happening now.
relationships,
And
right?
that's what's happening
Parasocial
now.
relationships. She has, and we see it even on a very small creator scale, where majority of that following will not use Occam's razor, will not look at evidence, really will not even kind of listen and absorb what you're saying versus what are you saying? X is bad. Okay, X is bad. Mass unsubscribe from Law and Crime, bad. Mass unsubscribe if they're subscribed to alleged stalker, or run over and stalker is bad because you said that they're bad. So I would say the same thing if she does come forward. Yes, there's gonna be that percentage that does exactly what you just said that they would do, compared to what percentage that are just automatically going to defend and believe her blindly.
Right. But
And she has a large following.
yes, she does. She does.
And I don't understand in her 9-hour thing of reading the statements that Grayson and her husband like wrote for the court, because it like the husband was basically saying that like he woke up one night and she was sitting next to him rocking, and this anxiety, she can't eat, she can't sleep, the son, like, and then they started talking about their son's issues, and I'm like, how does the son even know like what's going on?
It's a great question. And how is a text message sent from husband to wife evidence of impacts on health? Now, I'm not saying that it's not stressful and all these things, but to
Mhm.
claim that this behavior, these actions are contributing to a potential heart attack in the making, literally, that
Yeah,
is what
not
was
cool.
stated. That is very heavy allegations to put on, but maybe
No,
as a true crimer, maybe as just someone who likes watching court stuff, a text from a husband to a wife claiming something is not, in my opinion, I don't take that. And that depends on, it doesn't matter who's showing me that. I would not take that as anything because that could be so easily set up and staged.
Yep, absolutely. I remember telling Jen like the next day, because I just had watched a little bit at first, and I was talking with you guys about it, all you guys, and I remember telling Jen like I got the weirdest feeling because, and I see people mentioning the text. I got the weirdest feeling because she was talking about, you know, my assistant she knows me better than anyone. She went through 6 years of text, and it was like during this part of her watching on the bed and stuff. And she said, are there some things in there, chats with friends? Or, I mean, she mentioned something about drunk text, like when you're drinking and texting. And I was like, whoa, what are you trying to get ahead of there? Because, like, I
Mhm.
know for me, like, it just sounds like you're saying, I might have said something nasty, but that was drunk texting. You know what I mean?
Yes. Damage
Just gave them
control.
that.
And honestly, it goes back to what Jen was saying. If so, her child's information would have been protected and redacted. We've kind of all agreed there.
For
So
sure.
then why did she back out?
Exactly.
Exactly.
What was going to be shown as a defense or admitted into evidence that maybe she wouldn't want seen, and that's speculative for sure. I'm not saying there is anything, just asking.
You just wanted, I would just like, and the other question that I have, and I did ask in Web Sleuths, but to be fair, there were a lot of people in there that night, and I'm not saying anything negative about them not being able to answer. I mean, can have 25 people in my chat and miss a question. So
Mhm,
that's not it happens.
mhm.
But I did ask this because this is a question I have. When Megan Connor was breaking it all down, and she said that there were some things that she had actual, like she was a witness to, but then the majority of the way that she put it together came directly from Lauren's 9-hour live. So that's just for context. Okay. So Megan was breaking it all down, saying, giving a timeline of the things that occurred. But here's what gave me pause. It seemed from the way that Megan was explaining the situation that multiple women were doing things, different things, and yet only one of them was named as she only sought an RO after one of them. And I wanted to know, which I found out the answer to today. Did she did she seek the temporary restraining order, the ex parte, against Christina because the other women did not live in Utah? And this is not a negative thing. It just is a fact that Utah's standard, their bar, actually for people who really do need help and really do need protection, their standard of an ex parte to get a temporary emergency restraining order, the bar is very low. Whereas in other states, Texas, Florida, I know specifically about those two states.
That's interesting.
It's very difficult. So I wondered, but I asked, how come she did not seek any remedy from these other people? I was curious about that. Why was it, just the one?
It
That was
seemed
my
like the
question.
goalpost moved, right? On
Right.
who
That is
was
so
doing the
interesting.
harassment or stalking.
Right. And I also want to just for really quickly just say one thing really quickly. And I think it's very important. Okay. I think what as a community need to establish, in my opinion, is that there are two separate conversations that need to take place. There's the legal standard. Okay. There's the legality of it. There's the true crime aspect of it. Then there's the emotional aspect of it. I can say I don't believe legally that this rose to the level of requiring a permanent stalking injunction, restraining order, whatever. And also say at the same time, it's clear that there was a friendship that existed between these women, all of them. For whatever reason, no reason, I don't know. I wasn't there. They're not friends anymore. The friendship door is closed, and now there's beef. And there seems to be like 3 or 4 of them that now are like, do you like Lauren? Hell no, I don't like her either. And now they're buddied up, and now and they're talking shit about Lauren. That's two separate things. I can feel badly for Lauren. I've had shit talked about me. I've been accused of some stuff on this platform, like, for example, that Al Stauck asked us to stop covering Letitia. That is,
Yep.
and that I exploit that situation. And I would like to put the kibosh on that. I don't talk about it very often, but I'm going to say this right here and right now. Allie and I had not even requested one thing at all when Al Stauck went on News Nation and said what he said. He was referencing a very specific situation. We all know what situation that was. It was about the autopsy photos. It had nothing to do. We hadn't even requested anything then. Okay. And Allie and I have said 11 billion times, if we said it once, that if either parent or anybody that is a relative of Gannon's ever said, we don't like it, we would have stopped immediately. That's it. That's all. So I have been accused of stuff. have I been accused of, to me, nothing. I covered that
Well,
trial. Allie and I covered that trial together. Allie and I covered the first Lori Vallow trial together at the same time as we covered Gannon's trial. So,
Well, I'm
you
glad you
know,
mentioned that, because that comment on the screen, I was going to say, and everybody up here can say, it is part of it. When you decide to have a channel, you're going to have people talk about you. And I'll never forget the first time somebody came at me. It was the nastiest lowdown live after live, day after day, about my family, my personal life, my sex life, just everything. And a lot of it was just lies and bullshit. And it was so hard to go through. But I was very small now. It's hard to believe she hasn't been through something by then. And even that would never, I would never think that like I need to go get a protection order or stalking. It is part of it. If you put yourself out there, you're going to be talked about. And if you put yourself out there on a large scale, like look at the celebrities out there. That is part of, they make a shit ton of money. Okay. Taylor Swift can charge $1,000 a ticket for some of those seats. But guess what? She has to put up with everyone's opinions because that's what she chooses to do. And at any moment she could say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do concerts or CDs or put myself out there and stop it. You know what I mean? That's part of what it's what you give up.
You can't control other people. You can only control yourself and your reaction, and you make a choice. Okay. And I know exactly what Allie is talking about. I believe Melissa has experienced something similar. And I watched how you guys handled it. And personally, I decide when I'm going to speak up on something. I get comments, they're never to this level. They don't attack me like as a person, but everybody has an opinion. And when I put something out there, I'm putting it out there for people to watch and ultimately judge. And people do. And sometimes their judgment, they come back and they say, this is really good. Other times they come back and they're like, bitch, did you just put this out here like this? Now come on. Even and there are times, many, many times when I get those, bitch, did you just put that out here like that? Where I'm like, yeah, I know. Let me fix it. And I do. So,
Lauren kept saying, I'm trying to run a business, and these people connected to her were part of, her channel and behind the scenes and this and that. Like, if you're running a business, you're going to meet people along the way. Maybe next time, don't trust them with all your deepest, darkest, drunkest secrets that you're worried will come out, or, part ways in a different manner. I don't know what could be learned from her, but to me, it just seems like she's trying to silence somebody that she had a falling out with, and she's gone through these great lengths to do it through the courts. And then as soon as she realized like law and crime and whatever, she backs out.
100%. I agree. It's not stalking. That's what it comes down to, in my opinion, in my interpretation. And it seemed like that's exactly what the judge was reiterating too, leading up to this hearing. There's a difference, and there's free speech, and you don't have to like what someone's saying about you. You don't have to agree with someone's saying about you. Even I've seen people say that, well, there are so many videos, like targeted towards Lauren, from what I saw, it was very tame. No name was used. The only person who brought this to the public thus far was Lauren herself. And it's kind of like not acknowledging a dox, okay? Like if someone comes in and dox you, you don't go and say, you doxed me, because you're telling everyone, hey, you're pointing it out. You're saying, look over
here's
there.
my info.
Right.
Here I am.
I cannot for the life of me, at least where it stood at the point that Lauren came out and did it, I cannot understand bringing all of that attention to it. Because again, it circles back to what could the public opinion, the court of public opinion give you that the actual legitimate courts couldn't? Because you essentially presented your case, you showed your exhibits, you went through your evidence, yet one would have led towards potential protection, and one honestly could have probably done the opposite. It would have thrown more turmoil. it would have led to people maybe going even farther who want to defend the other side, whatever it may be. It's the internet. The internet's a crazy place.
You never
I
can tell.
right.
Mm-mm.
And I just don't understand that.
Well, I think also this is, important too. I watch the TikToks, okay? And I have a TikTok, but I don't ever post on there or anything like that because I don't know. I feel like YouTube is enough. Anywho, um, I have been caught in a doom scroll. I can't even tell y'all how many times. I will start at 10 o'clock, and by the time I look up, the Tickety Talks has come on and warned me, ma'am, excuse me. You've been on here. You know how they give you that little reminder? Maybe you should
Yeah,
take
Netflix
a
is like, "Are
break.
you still watching the show?" And it's like, "Don't judge me. Don't ask
That's
me
what
that again." Yes, I'm
exactly.
binge watching it.
Yes. Yeah, you see that I've paused it to go smoke.
Yeah.
Stop it, Netflix. I don't appreciate these tactics. But,
Exactly.
if I would have come across this video, truthfully, I would have watched the video. And you know what? Would have had no idea who it was about, but I'm going to tell you exactly what I would have thought. This is messy as fuck. Follow, just because I wanted to see how it ended. I have scrolled back in the day. I used to go on Facebook, not in groups. I'm talking about public, like stuff that people would share. Okay. And I would read an argument between three people that I didn't know from Adam's House Cat, had no idea who they were. I didn't care who they were, but the drama and the mess was entertaining to me. I watched it, I read it. I would never have known that those TikToks were talking about Lauren, but I will say this right now. If I were Lauren and I watched that TikTok, particularly the one about her brother, I would have been pissed. I would have been livid. I would
It's
have
100% Bendy. But
so
is
we
that
can
stalking?
it's
You
not,
know
and
what I mean?
that's
Low
the
It's
blow.
point.
not. Even
That's
as
the point.
nasty,
Very
low,
low.
ugly. But
Right.
guess what?
It's
We're
not
allowed
stalking.
to say, like, we have free speech. Now that limits, we're not able to yell fire in a theater. We're not allowed to go on an airplane and say, I have a bomb. There are limits. There are, guidelines set, not guidelines, but rules set to where, okay, we have those limits. But overall, I can say pretty much whatever the hell I want about you. Now, if I'm going in defamation, if what I'm saying isn't true, okay, you could go down that avenue. But essentially, I don't have to like you. I don't have to
Right.
keep your secrets. And can we establish now screenshots are not illegal? I'm mind blown about that. They're not illegal. You can take a screenshot of a conversation. You can share a conversation.
Okay, can we talk about that for just a minute?
Please
Chroma would
do.
not exist.
Huh? What?
I said Chroma would not exist. Some of these
You're
like
right.
little communities would not exist if that was the case. That's all.
Okay. Initially, I was under the impression from Lauren's live. And let me preface this by saying this was my perception of what Lauren said. Does that mean that's what she intended to say? Was that her intent? No, but this is my point about how we can all watch the same thing and all take something different from it. I was under the impression that her texts were essentially stolen. But
Right.
later on, I watched Web Sleuths. Shout out to Megan for clearing this up for me. Megan said there was a group chat, and that's where a lot of the text messages came from. It's very different when you say something like when you leave it out there like and I'm curious if anybody else was under that impression initially as well. Because
Yes.
I
It was
was.
confusing.
And I heard other creators state that it was
Okay.
hacked or taken.
Okay, because I was under that impression. That is very different than me, Melissa, Allie, and Amber are all in a group chat and we fall out and these hosts decide we're finna screenshot everything Jen Lou said, going all the way back to 1987. Jay, did you know that she called you a bitch on September 3rd, 1987? She did. Here's the screenshot. That's
Right.
very different. Very
Yeah.
different.
Very different. Okay, that was just bizarre to me. I'm sorry. How can you even are you exist on the internet, right? I just don't understand it, but whatever. That it to me that's some of the bullshit that like I think I don't know, is it thrown out for people to get I don't know. I don't know. But J13, I want to respond to your comment cuz and then I want to play this cuz Amber has to go in a second and she sent this
Oh.
clip from Twitter. But J13 says saying the husband was a fraud and that Lauren lied about his credentials was defamatory.
Then go
If
for
it's untrue,
defamation.
right, exactly. That's what I was going to say. If it's untrue, because I don't know, I've never looked into her husband. I don't know. Does he have a degree in something else? I don't freaking know. Whatever. If it's untrue, then it is defamatory, but then you would go to civil court and file, sue them for defamation.
Correct.
You don't
Yes.
go for a
But-
protection order for
But
because
did
someone
she
is
say
saying
that the husband
untrue
was a
things.
fraud? Because I was under the impression that they just searched his credentials.
I don't
even
recall seeing fraud specifically, and that's a good point, Amber, because like we can't really. This is what I took from it versus what was actually
True.
stated or showed.
Chasing
And did she even
correct.
she didn't
She
name
phrased it as a question. She said, "Let me know." And I remember this. This is why I was glad that Chasing did this because
Mhm.
I tried so hard. And I did watch Lauren's 9-hour video, but I had to do it in increments.
Oof.
Only because 9 hours is a long time. And it just took me a while to get through it. And, you guys all know me. You're familiar with my brand. I get distracted by shiny things and nothing all the time. So but I really wanted to hear, I wanted to hear for myself what she said specifically. I didn't want to be told. And yes, Remy, that TikTok basically was this. Other than there was like one, I believe it was, TikTok that actually had Lauren's voice in it.
I
Back in
remember
the
that
day,
one,
we used
yeah.
to call that shit vague booking. We all know what it is, where you used to take to the Facebook and somebody in your life had made you mad, but you didn't really want to call them out. But you didn't want everybody to know you was mad at them, but you wanted them to know, right?
Yes.
So you make a post, you make a status. That's basically what
Search
that
images, memes about this, memes
Yeah.
about backstabbers.
Yeah.
Then you
Right.
gotta choose one.
right,
Yes.
right.
And
Right.
and that so basically she never called the husband a fraud. She just made the TikTok of like, if somebody went to school for blah blah blah, blah and they like she was
Right.
asking the audience like,
But
can he be called a
exactly.
doctor? And then you scroll to the comments and she's like fact checked and people are like and that's it. So he's not a fraud or he's not and
Right.
story.
Interesting. Okay.
It-
And
it was
she wasn't
never
named.
stated. And that's the thing too, is like,
That was slick though. Girl,
yeah.
Christina, if you can hear this, I just want you to know that was slicker than baby snot, okay? I see you, girl. Petty AF, ma'am. Don't do that.
But
Been-
before I hopped on, I had which TikTok or which thing were you going to play? The first one I sent you?
I was
The
gonna play
Nerdy
Rose
Addict?
real fast. Yeah, because I haven't seen this one yet.
Yeah, don't play the other one.
Joneson's comment says, I think the Patreon live and them giggling about the stalker was wild AF to do right after we see you cradling
Yes.
yourself in bed doing a 9-hour live stream.
That did it for me. Like this clip, I was like, all right, I seen everything I need to see. And the other thing too, before I hopped off, is there was a part where they were talking about how the stalker went on her phone and like looked at how much she made on YouTube. Was that right?
There was an okay, this is the other thing. Thank you for bringing that up because yes, that was an accusation that I believe
Okay,
it
I'm
was
gonna hop
not
down and be in chat, but I'm listening. But
it was
thanks
not
for having me.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
Amber, I'm going to play this right after this. And thank you so
No
much
problem.
for
I'll
coming
be
in.
in chat, guys,
you
and
have,
I'm
if
listening.
you have to go right now, play it and I'll remember what I was going to say.
No,
because
keep
you
going. I'm
sent
just gonna
this.
watch it from the chat.
Okay, are you sure?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
don't
yeah.
you
And
wanna
I'm-
say
I'll pull up
something?
her comments.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, I'm still
Okay.
listening.
Okay.
Thank
So
you,
the
Amber.
money
Have a
thing
good
that
day.
she checked her YouTube
Okay.
account or whatever.
Okay. That she was like swiper and swiped her phone and got into her YouTube account, into her YouTube studio into her AdSense and saw what she made. Let me just stop right there. Okay. I think that's not the way it came out initially. It was not Christina. She said that I can say. I want to say it was somebody else chasing it, but she did not accuse Christina, and I wanted to make that very, very clear. But there's two stories that are going around. Okay. One was that, and this was on another channel, that that is a friend of Lauren, that they were staying at the Airbnb, and she went through her phone, and that's how she found it, but didn't have permission. Then I heard it a different way, where it was that she checked on her own phone. Okay, let me just cover both of these. As a creator, I can speak to this. That's who I thought it was, Clicker, but I didn't want to say that in case I wasn't for sure. Okay. Let me just say this. Anybody that is a creator that is signed up with AdSense, that is monetized on YouTube, they require you to have a two-party authentication. So even if I gave Allie my password, if she logged in from her device, guess what? I'm going to get an alert. To me, it makes more sense. The second story, which is what Chasing is saying, that she was given access to that. But initially in the paperwork, that's not
Okay.
how it was made
Well,
to appear. That's what
and
I'm trying to say. Get
can
up
we
here, Chasing. Quit being in the chat and come up here and help my ass out. Come on.
and can I just also point
your
out,
ass
if
up.
that were the truth, she also, correct me if I'm wrong, I heard Grayson explain how she gave me her login and password, and I went through 4 years. And so you've learned nothing if that's the case, if you're going to continue to hand out your password and logins, if someone has taken advantage of that before and looked at your studio. But yes, two-factor authentication is there
Right.
for a reason. But I also
Exactly.
just wanted to answer Nunya up there, because she had made a good argument, and the argument being, if the alleged stalker never used Lauren's name, can't that same argument be used for the 9-hour stream not using the alleged stalker's name? Which,
But she did.
correct me if I'm wrong, she did, but let's just for argument's sake say she didn't. I think the difference is, even though I do like that argument, it's a good argument, but the difference is that Lauren is the one going to court with claims of stalking and harassment. So it is a bigger factor, in my opinion, whether or not names were used, because those claims were made, versus the other way around, that's not being sought, that's not being claimed. So it's
Right.
not really just
Right.
comparing the two. Just to compare the two, one person is going to court with claims being made that she was tagged, that this is stalking, this is harassment. So that's the argument I would use in my mind.
Right. And I would say that I'm not saying, first of all, let me say this. I am not a lawyer, but I do spend a hell of a lot of time watching LawTube and actual trials, and listening to lawyers litigate and explain their arguments and all the things. Okay. What I would say, in my opinion, is that this does not rise to stalking, which is what a restraining order is for. It is to prevent somebody from contacting you, coming around you, those things. Okay. That's what a stalking injunction is for. That is what a restraining order is for. I would say that it's possible, but I am not an attorney, that there may be other legal avenues open to both parties, if I'm being fair, but not stalking. Okay.
Yeah,
And I
no,
can say
exactly.
that, and I can't remember who said it in this word, Susan. Thank you for highlighting that. We have all said on
I
this
was gonna
panel,
comment on that too, yeah.
okay, we've all said on this panel that was wrong, wrongity wrong. It was foul, it was wrong, and it should never have happened.
Two
That
things can be true
two
at
two
once.
things can be
It-
true at the same time. That's
Yep.
I think that's the
Who is
problem
supporting that?
about
How does
this.
like the comment, how does anyone support her allegations? Who is supporting that? Because like I don't know anybody who is, and I know she only had like 200 followers. So I mean, I don't know. Ask those people, the 200 followers, because we aren't. We're just having a discussion about like, so yeah, just the phrasing of that is just like, what do you mean? How does anyone support her disgusting allegations? Just because you don't see, like Melissa and Bendy both just said, two things can be true at one time. You know, I'm so sick of, I hate that. The whataboutisms, that logical fallacy, you lose the debate with that. You completely lose. You have no other points. If when a point is being criticized, or you're being criticized, or someone that you like is being criticized, and your first thing is, well, what about so and so? They do that. Or what about you support someone who does this? That's not the point. It's
Well,
the point, you know what I mean? So
Right. And Susan, yes, look, we're not over here cheering for the tickety talker. We're not saying Lauren is wrong and the tickety talker was right. What we're basically saying, I'm not even going to say we. I'm going to say me, because these girls are perfectly capable of speaking for themselves, and I don't want to speak for them. But what I'm saying is there can be multiple things that are true occurring at the exact same time. I can disagree with the way that the TikToker decided to air out her grievances. Okay, I can disagree with the language that she used. I can disagree with all of that, but still acknowledge that it doesn't rise to stalking. And I'm, you know,
yeah,
well,
agree.
and in
Go ahead, Melissa.
Utah, well, I just want to, because, I see what Nanya's saying, and yep, it varies state to state, of course, just like everything. So Utah stalking is specifically the respondent directly, indirectly, or through someone else followed, monitored, observed, photographed, surveilled, threatened, communicated to or about the petitioner, or interfered with the petitioner's property using any action, method, device, or means, or the respondent engaged in or caused someone else to engage in any of the following acts: approached or confronted the petitioner, appeared at petitioner's workplace or employer with coworkers, appeared at petitioner's home or contacted the neighbors, property, leased, whatever, sent materials to the petitioner by any means for the purpose of obtaining or disseminating information about the petitioner to a family member, household member, employer, place an object on or delivered an object to the property owned, leased, or occupied by petitioner, used a computer, the internet, text messaging, or any other electronic means. So I guess you could sit there and you could make the argument, well, if her videos are causing me distress, would that fall under? And I think that's where the judge and the fact finder would have to determine within a reasonable degree, of what, like,
this is what I
it's a fine line,
it's very
because
difficult.
it's free speech versus threats. You can't make threats, right?
Right.
Going like,
But I
because
think
what
what
may cause me distress, what may not be what causes you distress, right?
hell no. Like I see a frog and I freak out.
Right,
Melissa's like frog schmog. What's wrong with you, Bendy? Get a grip.
Well,
It's the
right.
same.
to me,
But go ahead.
go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead,
No,
Allie. No,
finish
no, go
your
ahead.
thought.
What I was
No,
well, no, you go,
yeah.
because I think I know what you're going to ask me. So it's probably already along the lines of what I was about to say anyway. So go ahead.
Well, no, I wasn't. I was going to respond to Nanya,
Oh,
something that she had said. So go finish your thought. I'll respond.
okay.
Then we'll listen to this thing. And I want
Okay.
to play what the judge said for you guys. But
Okay. So I think what happened in the RO, and this is important also, okay, in the ex parte hearing, I believe what Lauren did was use the fact, and I'm not saying she did anything wrong. I'm just saying what had happened. I'm just not, there's no opinion here. It's just what I believe happened. I believe what she did was use the fact that these women were all in a group chat and were all friends and were talking amongst each other to make it right, to rise to the level of basically it was a coordinated effort. because one of the definitions in there is through other people. So while there was a confrontation at a restaurant where I guess Christina wasn't even at, or it was actually Lindsay, or whatever the case was. Okay. That is how she was able to connect the dots and get a temporary restraining order. But it should be pointed out that the judge who that gave her the initial temporary restraining order is not the same judge that was going to hear the issue of extending the restraining order. Okay. And judges can and do frequently don't always agree. You can just because one
A lot of
judge,
discretion goes into it.
correct, just because one judge was presented a certain set of facts, and in that moment, based on those facts and that evidence, remember, it's ex parte, and so they're only hearing one side, then that doesn't mean that the judge that's going to be hearing the next hearing, that's going to be presiding over that hearing, is going to see that evidence, particularly when the other side gets an opportunity to present their evidence. And there's a very good, I said this before that audio came out. Allie knows. I think there, and so does Amber. I thought that there was a very, very good chance, in all likelihood, that the judge presiding over the permanent RO was not likely going to rule in Lauren's favor. I don't believe that she was going to get what she wanted from that, what she was seeking, I should say, not wanted, seeking it from that hearing. I don't think he was going to extend the RO. Chasing is here.
I know. I'm so excited. I just want to say real quick, though, to Nunya, to me, one follower or a million, the content, like the main subject of the content for me, didn't cross that line, in my opinion. Like, I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was any, like, at all what I would consider stalking. But again, a lot of discretion goes into it. And the last thing I wanted to say was, you said that's why I wondered. We are saying it wouldn't have met the bar. We don't know that. But if you watch the videos, it's just shit talk. It's not, for me, it's just because the main content doesn't even cross that line at all. It doesn't matter how many people see it or anything. It's just shit talk, petty shit talk. Hey, Chasing, I'm so glad you came up.
Hello there. That's why I was coming up to say that, because it's hard to say it in the chat when Nunya and I were. So the issue isn't 1 or a million subscribers, even though I do think Lauren used her reach there to get her side of the story out first. But she never said Lauren's name. There were no hashtags. I know people are like, well, we did see some hashtags. Well, I don't know where you saw them, because as soon as Lauren said the name Christina and showed the TikTok, my ass was over there. There weren't any. And I had to scroll a while, but I found it. And also, we are exposed to a lot of bullshit over here, and I don't think it should be normalized. But what happens over here is way worse than what happened with this. I mean, the worst thing that she did, and we can't prove truth or not truth, but we do know some of it was accurate, was what she said about Lauren's brother. Now, it was bad taste. It was disgusting. However, if you are taking these people and you're listening to what they're saying, Christina says, one of her red flags was, I should have realized when I barely knew you and you're telling me about your family and all of these other things, John's family really, and that you had just lost your other entire friend group, which that friend group is now part of this new friend group too, and they're all comparing notes. Well, there shouldn't be any notes to compare. If you've hired on a few contractors and one of them decides to add you, a professional that all of us are looking at as a very high level professional journalist, and they're adding you to a group chat, you probably should step out of there. unless it's strictly work related. But instead, by her own words, she's sending drunk messages, she's
Yep.
gossiping, she's backbiting. And those things, okay, I don't want to be sexist, but a lot of women are going to talk shit like, oh, I'm sitting beside Jeannie and I can't stand that bitch. That's one thing. But calling Tylee, if this is true, a bitch, talking shit about Trish from Web Sleuths, who's been a loyal friend of yours forever, talking bad about Kay Woodcock. She doesn't want all of this stuff to come out because it would be very damaging to her career, not just her reputation as being a nice girl, because I think at the end of the day, maybe she isn't. You know, they're saying that there's things like Justin Lum, who's a sweetheart, Nate Eaton. All of these people are respected as well.
Yeah.
So if she is doing that with people she hired as like, here's the other thing. People keep saying, oh, Christina's just mad because she got fired. No, she didn't. She never got fired. She was hired to do 2 pieces of contract work. She's an artist. So she was doing thumbnails. That was it. That's all she was doing. She did a few art things, and that was the end of it. Lindsay was also a contractor, like a 1099 contractor, not a full-time under Hidden True Crimes payroll. So they're kind of acting like, oh, they've been burned by her. You know, they've been burned and now they're bitter. That's not what happened. They ultimately, when they stopped the work for her, Lindsay moved on to another job, a great one at that Lauren recommended her for with high recommendation. And Christina went back to doing what she does, which is art. So I think, and it happens everywhere, once they weren't around her as much and they weren't as friendly, and you start comparing notes on things, you're like, oh, did she really? Oh, she did that to you too. And before you know it, it's like, wait a minute. And that's why Christina approached her at the courtroom. Lauren wanted a hug. And Christina's like, I know what you said about me. And Lauren froze. Like, what? She's like, I know what you said. And I'm sure that wasn't comfortable. Who wants to be confronted with what they said? Nobody, especially if it was mean. And, she says she just called her annoying. I highly doubt that. Based on what I've heard, I don't think so.
I've been a part of those groups comparing notes. You're right. It does happen all the time. I've literally been a part of it, like with YouTube, with the YouTube friendship, you know what I mean? Where it goes bad and then you end up like friends with other people, or, a lot of you go bad with this one person and then you start talking and you're like, wait, you gave them money? They ask you for money too?
Exactly. Exactly. And then you feel like, but what if it wasn't just like, oh, you gave them money? But it's you and Melissa and Jen and I are all in a chat together. And I just decide to dip out because I don't want to do it anymore. And Jen's like, oh my God, I'm glad she left.
Why is it got to be me that's the shit talker?
Sorry. You know what I mean? And then
you're right, though.
I'll compare notes and maybe I'm in the background talking really bad to each of you about each of you. How would you feel then?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I would put you right back in that chat and ask you, what the fuck, bitch? Why you say this about me? We could talk about it right here, right now.
I just think it's for the look that she's going for. And another thing I really do think is maybe her career took off on YouTube a little too fast and she wasn't prepared quite for what was about to happen. And she got big quick. You can't be big, be professional, be seen as an authority figure and want to be respected and be doing stupid shit like getting in group chats and talking crazy about everybody, including allegedly victims.
Right.
If there was nothing at all, nothing to hide except for, oh yeah, I called, Web Sleuths a bitch. Yeah, I said Justin annoys me. If those were the only things, do you think there would have been a 9-hour live? I don't think it's far from over. And I think we know a fraction of anything.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, what did she expect to come next? Like, after this,
I don't think she expected all of this. I can tell you right now, you know,
No.
the Krama channels being on this and having the audio and doing all of that shit.
oh yeah.
It's never going to
Which-
end now, you know.
I'm gonna play just a little clip of this audio on my microphone though, because I don't want to pull it up on the screen. It's like 30 seconds, okay?
Okay.
Mhm.
So you don't. This is not, again, stopping injunction is not a remedy for shutting down speech that a person doesn't like something saying about it. And it seems like that's what you're trying to do in this case. Well, again, you're I would argue that again, she's just saying.
A stalking injunction is not a remedy to get people not to talk badly about you, and that seems like what you're trying to do in this case. That was the judge.
Mhm.
And you can't, you know, it's like, yeah, you cannot want people to talk about you, but if you pull up her TikTok right this second, it's so, I don't want to be insulting to the girl either. It's corny. There was not a threatening thing in there. Annoying? Yeah, sure, annoying.
Right.
You know, and was
Petty?
she leading to something? Yeah, sure, she was, but nothing. There's no face, there's no name, there's nothing. So what are we being terrified for? And then why are you on Patreon saying, oh yeah, you know, I know my stalker pays to be in here, so hi, thank you, I guess. I mean, is that what I'm supposed to say? And I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this right now?
It wasn't a
This is
good
not
look.
good.
The optics were very, very bad. And for the people in the chat, I want to also remind you of this. Two things can be true at the same time. We can say that the TikToks, we wouldn't do it. We wouldn't have handled it that way. The specific one about her brother, we can argue till the cows come home and say, oh, I didn't like her choice of music. I didn't like her choice of words. I thought it was petty as hell and wrongity wrong. That's one side of the conversation. The other side of the conversation is it illegal? And what Chasing is saying, and I agree with her on this, is no, it's not
It's
illegal.
not illegal.
It's wrong. It's petty. It's messy.
I agree.
But it is not illegal.
Yeah, I totally agree that what she was doing was antagonizing because she knew that they knew. But the rest of the world didn't know. The world now knows because of Lauren herself.
Exactly.
We wouldn't have known. And I can say I've been called a lot of names. I mean, you know, Jay for Justice has a big platform. She did a whole spiel about me the other day. You know, she's a bitch. She's this, she's that. I could have struck her. I could have done all kinds of crazy stuff. I could get on and cry for 9 hours. Why? It's really minute. There is
Just draw
something
more
else
to it.
happening here that she doesn't want out. And it, you know, because she's pushing this, she did a 9-hour stream, 400,000 views. You've got Dudu Ron, who has 500,000 subs. I mean, they're almost at 1 million views total on this whole thing.
Yeah. I was looking at that before.
insane.
And let me just say, anybody who has something to say about you just doesn't know you or they ain't looking right. So you got to shake it off and look again because you're wrong.
Thank you.
I'm just saying.
I don't think
Right.
you're a bitch. I think that you say it how it is, and that's that.
Yep.
No, exactly. Yeah. Whistle down.
Sometimes motherfuckers ain't ready.
Yeah, we've had serious back and forths.
There is a
No.
comment in the chat that I want to address because I never called Lauren a liar. I never said once that she was lying. I never even said I didn't support her. What I said, and I'll say it again, I don't agree with things on that both parties have done. I can have that opinion. I can also say that if it were me and I watched that TikTok and somebody said that about my brother, whether he was alive or dead, hell, if somebody said that shit about my dog, okay, I'd be pissed. I'd be livid. Would I be in fear? No.
No, yeah,
We're
and that's what
talking about the legality of it, not like, I
exactly.
am supportive of her as a channel. I don't know her.
And that's the other part of it. I'm never going to just agree with something, and that's what I've been working on in this next part of the video is, yeah, it's way easier to agree with Lauren because she's got all these, you want to be seen
Yeah.
in a way in true crime, right? So agree,
Yeah.
create some nice videos, jump on the bandwagon, maybe get some more views, you could do all the
Yeah.
things, or you could do the right thing. And the right thing is to say, okay, is this fair? She called this woman a stalker 400 times, and everybody was able to find this person's TikTok. People are calling. They want to know if she has kids, if she's married, if CPS is involved. That's not right. They're putting out her first and last name everywhere. The people who don't like her. Then you've got now Krama involved, which never bodes well for anybody.
Yeah.
But one of the
Somebody
things
can
that Nunya
report.
said is, can both things be true? She doesn't want something out, and it's possible these girls are attempting to intimidate, and that places her in a fear state. Sure, it can place you in a fear state for your career and for not wanting what you've done out, but a physical fear state, a stalking order state, I think that's different. She's saying, I'm in fear for my life. They don't live in the same state. This girl, no offense to her, but I don't know what other word to use. I don't have a lot of words. She's a clown. What is she going to do? She's not going to do anything. She doesn't want to do anything. They've seen each other many, many times. If the girl was going to do something,
Right.
she wouldn't have just walked up and said, I know what you said about me, and had a conversation. She would have walked up and punched her in the face.
Right.
This girl is not going to do anything to her physically.
Right. And let's look at those TikToks and really break them down. If we want to get into it, we can really get into it. If you really
Exactly.
look at those TikToks, let me tell you who those TikToks are directed to, in my opinion. It ain't us, y'all. It's Lauren. They're not meant, if those TikToks were directed for the general public and she wanted to out any dirt, they
That's
would
true.
be filled with screenshots, screen
Yeah.
recordings, text messages, recordings of her voice, all the things. Those
You're right.
TikToks were for Lauren and nobody else. She
It's like
was
when
telling Lauren, listen here, lady. Oh, I keep hitting my mic. Let me scooch back.
She's letting her know you were a bad friend, and we all know
I
that
see
you were.
you.
see
I
it.
know what you said. I just want you to know that I know. And I need you to know that I know. And now you know. We all know.
Exactly.
That's what it was. That's it.
exactly. I
That's
agree
all.
100%. She was just saying,
Oh.
listen, we're not friends anymore, but you better know, bitch, that I know.
Well, and
we
yeah,
see
and
you.
I agree with ATS because I think that this is also, because I was talking with Nani in the chat, it's the withdrawing of moving forward with your order that would essentially give you that protection, right? That would halt this alleged stalking and harassment. But seeing you laughing and minimizing and making a joke out of it on Patreon, those two things play a huge role in my overall opinion, even though I don't think from what we've seen so far, it would constitute stalking, in my opinion. I'm not the fact finder though, just my opinion. But then
Right.
this on top of it is, I don't just listen to what you're saying, I watch what you're doing, and these actions, this behavior does not align with what you're saying, in my
Right.
opinion.
Well, let's hear it. I haven't heard it yet. This is her Patreon, I guess. It's a minute long. I'll just play it and then we'll.
Yeah, this is
About
a
it.
small piece of it, but it gives you a good idea of how she's overall on this stream. Maybe because she feels more comfortable with her husband there. Who knows?
Right, or it's behind a paywall, and you might think nobody will see it, but I do want to say you're right, Jen. Like when I have posted like those Facebook posts I want the one person to see, I don't give a shit who else sees it. I don't want anybody else to see it. It's not even for them. Like I really don't want them to. It's for that one person to be like, I see you. I know what you're up to. Okay, so that was a good point. Okay, here we go.
Listening. Go ahead.
Oh, so you don't have it where
Oh,
she.
they're listening.
I don't have what?
You must have where she, maybe they recorded it twice.
This is from Nerdy Addict. I don't know. Let me just play because
Okay.
I haven't seen it. Amber sent it. Let's see.
Go ahead.
Thanks for being a Patreon member.
Dude, you can't put that in.
I don't know what else to say. It's weird, but
Very weird.
Well, I guess I
Very
could say
fucking
thanks to all of our
weird.
Patreons except our stalkers. Like, I don't know. That's
I
weird.
know I'm grateful for that too.
Oh my god.
Supporting our
No,
channel.
why don't we say thanks to our Patreons, including our stalkers. And hey, if you guys really want the scoop, you're gonna have to upgrade your tier level.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
You want
another-
all the private texts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please
you want all the
upgrade your
private
tier
tags.
level to get the
Mm.
full Patreon experience.
Yeah, as we sit here and laugh and get.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
And
I
that was
paid
another
for
thing.
Patreon to go watch it, and I saw that and was like, okay. I mean, I think he was just trying to play it off a little, but she doesn't seem like she's playing anything off. I mean, she's laughing. She's like,
I'm grateful for you too.
yeah, well, hi, and waving to her. Like, if you are terrified of somebody, you're definitely avoiding that topic as much as you possibly can, or you're avoiding that person. If I'm deathly afraid of Alex and I go to Patreon, I'm going to have my discussion with my people and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to laugh
Yeah.
and make fun of it and wave to you.
Yeah.
It looks,
Or drop.
if you're in
any
fear
attention.
for your life, you're not going to do that, right? And I also think she thinks Patreon is behind this paywall that the Karama community is not going to go in and get and bring out. It was 2 days after her 9-hour crying live.
Because it's true, right? You did have to upgrade to get more information, right?
I
That's what I heard. Not,
I
I don't
didn't
know.
upgrade, so I was like, Gavel Geek says, wait, what were they responding to? So she had her 9-hour live. Then she was getting ready to travel back home. So I think she was still at her mother's at this point, but they did a Patreon live, her and her husband, or a Patreon video. And he tells her, you can't leave that in there, what you just said. They play it. I think she rewound it and they play it twice, Alex, if you let it play through. And it's something like, yeah, my stalker is a Patreon too.
They pause it here on this clip. I wonder, is there any other clips on Twitter with that? Hold on, I'll go look.
Yeah, she just ends up saying,
And there's
hi,
been-
and waving to her like, you ain't scared of her, girl. You are not scared of her. Scared is, I ain't saying that bitch's name, not her.
Yeah. Scared is I ain't gonna even make eye contact with you, even for the
Exactly.
interwebs.
Exactly. If you're afraid for your life.
Right.
Now, if you're just like, oh, I can't stand this bitch. Yeah, you're going to taunt her. You're going to be like, I know Gavel Geeks is watching. Hey, bitch, here I go. Those are things I do all the time when people aggravate me or don't like me. I'll do it on purpose, just so that they know I ain't afraid of you, bitch.
But here's the thing
Don't do
about
that
that, Tor.
here.
It could be. I am somebody who uses humor that is my coping mechanism. Doesn't matter what's going on. The house could be burning down and I will make a joke because
Sure.
that's how I deal. So it could be that. It could be that. But here's
It
the
could
thing.
be, but it
To
came
make-
up out of nowhere.
Correct. But also
No.
to say that my stalker pays to be in here.
Watch me. Yeah.
Okay. We're screenshots or it didn't happen. I have a Patreon. Allie has a Patreon. Chasing, you got Patreon? You know how Patreon works,
No.
right?
Actually,
We all know
good
how Patreon works. We know
Right.
who your members are.
Yep. They're emailing everything. Yep.
I know it's you, Tori.
But you can kick people out too, can't
Yes,
you?
you can.
Thought so.
Yep.
Thought so.
So, that's a good point. Yeah.
So to say that, then okay, this is another thing, kind of like the situation with Dr. John. All right. Where is the receipt I know what the TikTok said. I know that it was left as a question. Was it right? No, it was not, because
Right.
Dr. John, a PhD, is a doctor. You have a doctorate.
Right, but she's saying, is he a PhD in philosophy or psychology? Because he presents as a forensic psychologist, but his PhD is in philosophy. His master's is in psychology. That's what she's saying.
Okay. Either way,
Well,
where's the proof? No, because that's not what my point was. My point was about the question about him having to defend, and him to defend what's going on, or his education. I guess there's an allegation that
the
his
board
employment, exactly.
Yeah.
I ain't got no proof of that. I ain't seen a screenshot of proofs of nothing. So I can't address that if I can't address something that is at this point simply an allegation.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I don't think, well, I almost want to say, well, I don't think his credentials should be brought into it. Well, I guess they should if you are presenting yourself on the internet and that's why your channel exists, because of your credentials more so than anybody.
That's fair.
And I mean, he's a very educated man, clearly. And it seems like one of the nicest people ever. So is it fair that he's brought into this? No.
I am curious, though, because when I watched her 9-hour live, I want to get you guys' opinion on this. When I watched her 9-hour live, she read their filing, okay? And in part of that was that Dr. John was going to give expert testimony. Well, now, wait a minute, back the milk truck up.
Right.
I am not doubting the man's credentials at all. This is what I'm saying.
Right.
Can he give expert testimony given the fact that he is married to her? Because I'm thinking that is, I'm thinking no. Now he can say what he's personally witnessed. He can say how what watching what she's going through has made him feel, but to give expert testimony, I don't think he could be called as an expert witness in that way.
With you.
Thank you.
No,
sometimes I think I'm crazy.
He's in psychology. Okay, so what? All right, let's look right here then, shall we?
Yeah.
If this is my fucking stream, let's just look over here.
No, look, show it if you can, because
I can hear chasing. Click, click, clickety, click. Yes, and go. That's why I wanted you up here.
I have issues.
Yes.
Did I come out aggressive? Did I sound aggressive when I said it? Because I surely didn't mean it that way. I mean, I was emphatic, but I wasn't.
I have a question.
I wasn't trying to pull like a scorpion and be like, "Get over here" or anything like that. I just wanted you.
They are different, Carrie.
Clicking.
You didn't sound aggressive, but I do got a question while she looks. What do you guys think will happen next? Like, where do we go from here? Where does this go and how does it evolve from here? Because even Christina hasn't responded. Yeah, what do you guys think about that?
After that audio from the hearing has been released, it ain't going nowhere good for a minute, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's going to be played over and over. And there are lots of paperwork, I'm sure, that can be dug up and put out as well, which probably will happen. But is that how Christina responds? Like through other people, like putting stuff out, or you know what I mean? Like, here, this is what she filed on me. I don't know. I'm just making this up. I'm not saying she's done it. I'm just wondering, like, or will she come out and respond? Or will she just like put the facts out? I don't know. But I don't know where they expected it to go from here. Like,
I think if
ready when you are, honey.
I think if Christina intended to do anything, I think she would have done it by now. I think that now, because especially now, the complaint has been dropped. She has she's not restrained. Oh, I don't want you to hear me twice.
Is there an echo?
Yeah,
a little bit. If we mute though and you show us, we'll remove it.
Let's see if we mute.
Street cred are her husband's credentials.
The following are screens. Oh, I can't read it. But it don't echo when we're muted.
Will it echo from me? Because it doesn't sound like it to me, but
You're not echoing.
perfect. Okay. The following screenshots are from his website or their mutual website. Anyone can claim whatever they want on their websites. They don't back any of their claims up on their website, and they do not have LinkedIn profiles. It says Dr. This is him here, 500 plus forensic evaluations and risk assessments.
She claims that he is a criminal psychologist.
She claims he's a criminal psychologist. So it says Dr. Him is a licensed clinical and forensic psychologist with 25 years experience in both clinical and forensic work. He has performed over 500 forensic and psychological evaluations and risk assessments for the court since 1996, assessing the risk.
Forensic psychologist and a clinical psychologist. He has a psychologist and a clinical psychologist.
In the forensic area, Dr. John has developed expertise in personality assessments, hidden behavioral motivations, complex trauma, and criminal psychology. Okay.
He has a psychology license.
Okay. Director of Psychologists, Public Directory of Psychologists, Registrant Search. She searched. His license is active for psychology.
I found that's a fact. She also claims he's been an adjunct professor.
Okay. Dr. Blank has been an adjunct assistant professor in the University of Nevada's Las Vegas clinical psychology doctoral program since I don't know when, and he has trained over 25 doctoral students in that time.
At UNLV since 2007. Because this involves other people and I'm trying to figure out what's fact versus fiction, I decided to call up UNLV and see if Dr. So-and-so has been an adjunct professor since 2007. No, you have no records at all working for UNLV? No. Okay. Well, I find it.
Okay. This is from 2023. It only shows he was willing to supervise, not that he did. And there's no proof he did. No PhD student thesis mentioning him as their supervisor ever. So it says Dr. Blank has been a forensic and clinical psychologist for over 20 years, with particular focus upon depth and psychodynamic approaches to both clinical and forensic work. He has conducted over 400 forensic evaluations related to sexual and violent crimes. Dr. Blank consulted to district attorneys on several high-profile cases, in addition to working as a federal expert witness for both sex and violent offender cases. This placement will involve forensic psychological analysis of both sexual and violent offenders, with some possibility of participation on murder cases if the opportunity arises. So this says private practice. So this looks like the syllabus for a course. Am I right? This is a syllabus here. So it's giving the supervising PhD, which would be John, and the schedule will be 6 to 12 hours, depending on the student's needs, blah, blah, blah. So private practice, advanced students only is that.
Go. Paper online that shows that he's willing to supervise PhD students doing their thesis project. My question is the man who got his PhD in philosophy.
Okay. This says Doctor of Philosophy. Counseling, psychology, a BA from Princeton University. Dissertation was Children and Domestic Violence, Developmental Framework.
PhD in philosophy.
So it looks like, I think, he has his BA in psychology, but his doctorate is philosophy. Okay. I don't know.
Not psychology, philosophy. Got his master's degree in.
He got his master. So he has his BA in psychology, his master's in marriage, family, and child counseling, and then his doctorate in philosophy. Am I right? I don't
marriage
know.
And family and child counseling. That does not have his PhD in psychology then able to call himself a doctor of psychology, or able to supervise doctorates in psychology when he has his doctorate in philosophy?
Yeah, Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, and then the field follows. So PhD in
That's what I was thinking.
psychology.
Look here, I'm sitting over here with a GED. So don't be asking me about none of this.
I don't know. And well, here's the thing, and this is another reason we played it. Is she stating he doesn't, or is she asking questions? She's asking questions. So what can you do? Can you sue her for this? No. Can you say she threatened you in this? No, you can't do any of it. You can't do any of that.
It's messy and wrong.
It is wrong.
It's
for sure.
That
Okay.
was way too far. Okay.
Mhm.
That's
So
way too
the
far
chat-
and unnecessary.
The chat was going back and forth. Like Gavel said, every PhD is philosophy. PhD stands for doctorate in philosophy. A BA doesn't mean is art. And then
With
Jay
the-
Rose, a doctorate in psychology is a PhD in psychology or a PsyD. So they're kind of going back and forth. I truly don't know. You know what I mean? So, but like you said, she's just asking questions, and she marked his name out. I couldn't see the name. I mean, if you know, you know, but if you don't, you don't. So I don't think that that's something she should be afraid of. And I do think that these kind of restraining orders and stalking injunctions and things, you know, are, well, then again, who am I to tell somebody what to be afraid of? But I mean, a reasonable person, I don't think would be afraid of that, you know. And I think that there's a lot of shit going on where people, like, look at, again, that Keon King coming up to the girl's window, you know what I mean? These are stalkers. That's
For sure. I mean, this is annoying. It's aggravating. It's none of your damn business. It's leave that man alone, because it has nothing to do with her gossiping or whatever. But again, she's asking a question. She didn't say Dr. John is this, and this.
Right.
She crossed it all out. She never said who the friend was. Nobody's hashtagged in this. The hashtags say ex-friend questions psychology. That's it. It says, can someone without a PhD in psychology actually perform a forensic evaluation? Nowhere on their website does it state that he got what he got his PhD in. That's all it says.
Okay,
Right.
so it is a doctor of philosophy for anything, but then it doesn't say what it's in. So, you know, I mean, there's still questions. So for a person, especially that's against you, coming out trying to look, hey, something shady. Remember, this is an employee who left, like Melissa said, disgruntled, talking with other disgruntled employees and sharing their experiences. And now they're like, whoa, something's wrong. You know what I mean? And kind of looking at it. I think that's fair.
I think it was not a disgruntled employee. It was the girl I just showed was a contractor who did some art pieces. That's it. She did some thumbnails.
Well, that's even less. You know, that means even less.
Yeah, she was paid through, like, I don't even know, Venmo or something. And then her producer lady got recommended by Lauren to a bigger, more popular show.
She did what she did to be messy and petty. But being messy and petty is not illegal. And that's the point. Are there other legal avenues that are to fix remedies available to Lauren? Hell, I don't know. You just heard me say I have a GED. I'm not an attorney, but I would be looking into those before I would be looking into a stalking or a restraining order.
For sure. Yeah.
That's what I'm suggesting.
If you worked with this person and they are professional, allegedly, you reach out to them, you have a conversation, you go sit down and go to lunch with her and the other girl that you had hired before. And I mean hired as 1099s that you trusted, that have screenshots of all the bad things that you said, and ask them, what is your ultimate goal here? What are you doing and why are you doing it? Saying you're in fear for your life.
Yeah.
It seems a bit extreme to me, and maybe I'm hardened from being, on YouTube or hardened from growing up in Dorchester. I have no idea. But to me, this seems ridiculously crazy overreaction, nutty as a bed bug. It doesn't
It seems
equate
extreme to me too. Well, especially when you cancel even doing you drop it all together and then go online and show all your exhibits and everything and then do a tour on different channels. It just seems, it's weird. It's bizarre. I do want to say, no matter what, I don't think her husband should be brought into it, right? But then he's commenting on her Patreon. So then again, I could see why after that. I don't know where the line is, but I definitely don't think that the thing said about her brother or any of that is fair. And even if he is commenting on it, it's his wife. At the end of the day, this just seems like a petty girl fight that has gone way too far. Way too far.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Humanimal, who said that though, babe? I didn't see anybody say that he can write prescriptions.
I don't know.
Someone in the chat. It's someone in the chat.
Oh, okay. Right, y'all be nice to each other. Now, come on.
Yeah, we can agree to disagree. It's not an echo chamber. I've said that from the beginning. I want all opinions just respectfully, and I think you guys have been doing pretty good the whole way. So we're about to end it anyways. Like I said, where does it go from here?
No, we're good.
You didn't answer that. Where do you think it goes from here, and where did they expect it to go? And Christina as well. Where did she expect it to go?
Truly, I don't know where they expected it to go, but I really do think that there's more that will end up coming out. Now that, again, now that Krama's got a hold of this, I don't think it's gonna stop anytime soon. But I mean, I don't know. Lana could have gotten the audio from the court, because you can request it right on the court and it comes redacted and all of that. I checked while we were on here just to see how the hell. But if there truly is stuff out there, the smart move on Christina and the rest of the ladies is to stay quiet and wait. And then it dies down. If they really want to be heard, maybe they come out and they talk, but I don't think so. I think if they're watching, and I do think that they are watching some stuff, they know not to push it too far, because she's already considering. And I think this is going to add salt to Lauren's wound. Turtle Boy covered it. Jay is covering it. Lana's covering it. Lori Hellis, she goes live on Wednesdays. She's live, and she's got half of the Krama community in her chat.
Oh,
that's
my.
not a good fucking thing at all.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I would like to see what she's got to say for sure.
She was on the Glares, and she goes live Wednesday nights to do true crime stuff. So, but as soon as I clicked in, she was talking about this, and she's got creators in there from Krama. And I'm like, oh boy, she has no idea what's about to happen. Run.
It's definitely given the BNN a little break, though. There's not been as much of that.
Thank heck for that. I'm sorry, because I was just thinking about saying professional.
That won't last too long. If they stay quiet, what else are you going to get out of this?
You can't. Exactly. You have to. That's the thing that I know being silent is not easy.
No.
It's very, very hard. Mm-hmm. And it's a choice. And the thing of it is does it stop immediately? Well, no. But when they don't have new material to work with,
yep.
I
think if Christina, Lindsay, if those ladies, no matter what court audio or whatever is coming out, I think if they stay quiet, it dies until Lauren decides to do. I mean, she said on Duty Ron, she's considering going federal. Well, what does that mean? Now, here's a crazy part. Because Krama got a hold of this and all these people have covered it, what does third-party harassment look like? And what liabilities are there? I don't know.
I was thinking the same thing, Jason. Get out of my head. Or if you're going to be in there, straighten up the filing system. Is out of control.
Wasn't playing nothing. You hear me?
I remember this coming up in another hearing in one of these restraining order things that we've seen
Yep.
in these communities along, but I cannot remember.
Well, I think
I-
Lauren has a lot more resources and is a hell of a lot more serious than somebody like Brittany. You know, Brittany could be like, oh, yeah, you guys are third party harassing me because Queen's connected to nonsense, connected to Clue, whatever the hell. But if she doesn't have the resources or the drive to really get this to stop, it doesn't stop. But if you can prove in any way that these girls know any of these people and you can connect anybody together, fuck no. I ain't getting involved in that.
It could get
I
very,
wanna-
very messy. And I'm glad you saw this because I put it in the
Yeah.
back chat.
Mm.
Yes. I want to read Kresha's comment. So Kresha is
I agree. Whistle down.
Larry and Kay's daughter. Well, Kay's daughter, you know, and she says, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it. Like, I'm so sorry that you even have to think about this after everything you guys have been through. She said, my question is all of this a desperate attempt to try and suppress nasty comments made about my mother or my family? Because that would make me enraged if so. And Charles Vallow's niece, you guys, if you don't know, sorry to be all over the place. She said, because that would make me enraged if so.
I've heard that, Kresha. You know, I've heard that there were some things said about Tylee and possibly Kay. Do I know if that's true? I absolutely do not. I hope it's not.
Me too. I hope
I
it's
really
not true.
do. But I mean, I've directly heard that is something that her ex-friends, ex-contractors were disgusted with. They were very upset about that. And they didn't like it. They feel like she's a fake, you know?
There's a lot of those, Dreamboat Annie, on going both ways, right? I mean, I can come out here and say, yesterday, Chasen called my employment and questioned my credentials. Now, let me just point out that my employment would be my granddaughter, because everybody knows I work for her, and she doesn't give a rat's fat kneecap about credentials. But if I were to tell you guys that Chasen called my employee, and I left it at that, and I had 11 billion subscribers, right? And all 11 billion subscribers, exactly. You would be going over to Chasing sign about why you call on Jen Lu.
Yeah, we're going to call CPS on you. We're going to do this.
All of this without. That's why I didn't address like a lot of that 9-hour live. I'm only willing to address and talk about things that I've seen proof of, and I haven't seen proof of that. I'm not saying it didn't happen. What I'm saying is I don't know that it happened because I haven't seen proof. I don't be taking nobody's word for it. Jesus Christ himself would have to show me a screenshot. That's how I roll.
Well, Kiwi says a fake doing fake true crime, say it ain't so. Can I say that there is a lot of yucky stuff that happens in true crime? Yes. But there are some really good people. And when you think Lauren is one of the good people, and then in your same brain, you're thinking if she called Tylee a bitch, excuse me, or said anything about Kay, her reputation is fucking screwed after that. She could call Alex a bitch. She could call Kresha a bitch. She could say those things, but Tylee and Kay, no. It just wouldn't.
It would be very difficult for her to come back from that.
I've been running her 9-hour script through GPT, and it points towards this being so about, yeah.
I said that when Kresha, whenever I clicked on, the first night that this came out, like the way that I heard her talking about, you know, my assistant knows me so well. She went through 6 hours of text messages, and then she starts talking about drunk text. I told Jen the next day, I was like, there's something in those texts, just the way that was brought up. It hit my ears a certain way. And I was like, It just didn't sound right. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's just
But I'm glad that you're here, Kresha, and because this is actually really good, and this is an interesting point that I think Kresha being here proves. Isn't the allegation that all these women were running around all over Hell's Half Acre, showing all the disparaging, nasty things that Lauren said about other people? right? Kresha has a freaking YouTube channel. If anybody was easy to get a hold of and contact, it's right. I've contacted her through email. Why
Yeah.
wasn't she sent? How come she's asking the question?
Right.
Yeah.
That is
I
interesting
don't,
to me.
yeah. I don't think that they, from what I understand, and there are people I know that are close to some of these people, because I myself got emails days and days ago. I didn't put anything out because,
Right.
I feel like this is going to go further, and I don't know where it's going to go. But that being said, there are people in this whole situation who can verify some of the things that Lauren said. If they wanted to destroy her reputation, they could have. They can. Right now, they can. But I don't think that's, just like Allie said earlier, this wasn't for the general public. This was for her to tell her, we know who you are now. We've been in touch with your other friends. We've all compared notes. Stop being a fake bitch. That's the way I'm taking it. Because if they really wanted to, they could just put everything out and destroy her. And, I think that they've held back on it. And I don't think they want to hurt the families either. I think that's a big part of it.
Right.
Kresha says, I guess people feel this kind of thing is a sticky subject, and that's why they don't find me approachable. I don't know why. I'm pretty approachable, in my opinion. I try to be. I think you're approachable. I think you're great and easy to talk to and easy to listen to. And because we're about to end this, I'm about to wrap it up. But if we have the discussion again, if things continue to go in any direction or anytime, like, you're always welcome. If you have something to say here, I'll always let you come up here and say it at any time. All you have to do is say the word. So I hope that you know that. And I know the ladies on panel, me, the other people that were here would come to you. I don't think you're unapproachable. Yeah.
Not at all.
I mean, if I ever had proof, I'd probably talk to my girl and be like, oh, I don't know. What do I do? But I don't have proof. I can say I've heard it from a very credible source, but does that help you or prove it? No. And I would also not want to ruin Kay and Lauren's relationship based on she said that she said this. I'd need to see it in writing myself to verify it. So
yeah. And I feel like to me it seems like okay. Was the TikTok petty? Was it messy? Yes. But how evil can a person be if they have this information, right? And they're not releasing it? Because, I mean, let's be honest. Haven't Kay and Larry been through enough?
Exactly.
Hasn't Kresha been through enough?
Yep.
So they're not releasing it, right? I did, like I said, those TikToks are not for the general public. They were for her. They were for Lauren to see. The girl had a TikTok with 50,000 subscribers or followers. Sorry. If she'd have wanted it for the general public, she would have put that shit on her big TikTok. Period. The end.
With a name,
Correct.
I'm calling you out.
Yes. She would have said it, as we say, with her whole chest.
Exactly. And
she didn't. Those TikToks were vague books for Lauren and Lauren only. All she wanted I'm not saying it was a good thing she did. I don't agree with her. I think it was wrong getting wrong. I think it was petty and messy. Okay. But it was not illegal.
It wasn't. Kresha. If there are text messages to me and my mother or Tylee floating out there, if it were me, I would have told Kay directly. She would have likely forgiven. Yeah.
Mm. I just can't imagine how you. I don't know. I sit there and I hear you guys say they've been through enough, and they have. I agree, and I think about Larry coming out and doing like the "We Will Rock You" and like singing JJ's song and like doing the flexed muscles and like that last day of Lori's trial, like just being so. And it just I don't understand. If that's true, I cannot imagine how you could ever get yourself to talk. What?
That wasn't even on the TikTok. This is all backroom discussions, right? And of course, everything gets out of the back room. Nothing ever stays in the dark for long. She didn't put any of that on the TikTok. She put on stuff like, "Oh, look at you inviting Janice to dinner," as you're telling all of us she's a bitch and you hate her and you can't stand her and she makes you feel like this. Stop doing these things. That's what she was saying. Enough is enough already. Stop. That's not, come on. Is she covering? Who knows? Yeah, the darkness always comes to light.
It always comes to light. But to answer, who said it? Where is it? Kay Grant said, "I thought I heard the judge say that the TRO was my order." No, question mark.
Order? What?
Yeah, because I had said that one judge gave her heard her ex parte and granted the TRO, and then there was a different judge that was going to hear the final hearing. Is that wrong?
I think so. The judge that everybody has the audio of now, he said he was scheduling it for the 16th.
No. Did he hear the original ex parte and grant?
No, I don't think.
Okay, that's what I was asking. Okay, so that's what I thought. There's two judges.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Sometimes I be gaslighting myself. I know I rewound that part to hear it because of the way that he worded some things. I wanted to be very clear because the way he talked about the ex parte, he alluded to how did she get it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which tells me, well, if you wrote it, that was my first clue. Inspector Gadget. That
you're wicked smart there.
Wicked smart. Wicked smart.
Wicked fucking smart there. You figured that out.
How do you like them apples?
Carrie wants me to play this for you guys. Just 2 seconds.
Okay.
My husband also, I never know what to introduce you as, Dr. John Matthias. He is a clinical and forensic psychologist.
So that is how she introduces him, just so people know factually. And, I'm not saying he is or he isn't, and I don't know nothing about that. I'm just saying, Carrie, I'm playing it, and that's how
I think he is. I don't think he would lie about that. I don't know. He doesn't feel like the type to me. Who the hell knows, though? I don't know.
Yeah.
Now these ladies who use the 7 gatherers.
Thank you, Kim, so much.
Janice dressed up as Lori Vallow. That's cute. That's nice. Who the fuck? I get being into true crime, but
I'm in true crime, and I've never created a group chat that had anything to do with any of the true crime cases that I've covered ever.
No, unless it was a research chat to say research.
Right.
Not like the name of it.
Right. I mean, like,
who the hell would know who you are dressed as Lori Vallow? Like,
right?
What? That's so weird. That's weird.
All right.
Can
Well,
you ask me to take it down and read.
Now I kind of want to have a chat that's 7. What is that? 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. How many horsemen are there? That would be a funny one, but not the 7 gatherers, because we know who those were.
Right.
Boudreaux, Gibb, Bangs. Ugh.
oh God.
Lori, Zulema. All y'all need to be locked up if you ask me. Y'all
Mhm.
guilty as hell. You all participated. And you all helped,
Agree.
especially you, Melanie Gibb. You gave Lori and Chad time. You're
Well,
fucked
don't
up
forget,
for that.
When Lori Vallow's Arizona trial started, they let something out that there were those deals made, and the deals were in Idaho. So somebody got a deal. We don't know who, but there were deals made.
And when Brandon Boudreaux, the trial for his attempted murder was occurring. Melanie Pulowski, Melanie Boudreaux Pulowski, Mel P. Girl, they coming for you.
I think
Before
Lauren,
we go, yes, I wanted to comment on this because, and see what you guys thought before we go, because I've seen this a lot, and this was actually in my notes. You know, people talking about she got too close. She got so close with everybody involved, and they think that played a role in this.
it does.
And I'm curious, how you guys think about that. So you think it does? I mean, I think it does too, but I can
Absolutely.
understand wanting to help. I don't know, but
I mean,
it definitely.
when you're covering it constantly, you would. I mean, I've met Kay and Larry at CrimeCon, and I only, I maybe talked to them for 10 or 15 minutes, and they seemed like the most genuine, sweet. You just wanted to hug them, right? And you don't forget that. Imagine seeing them every day at trial, talking to them, going to dinner with them. You end up easily crossing that line from being professional to wanting to be part of something else.
Right.
And you're not just there as a reporter anymore. You're there as support, as a friend, as a shoulder. And the line gets so blurred. You have to be careful with it. And I don't think she was very careful. And maybe she considered them friends to where she could say things like, "Oh, Kay pissed me off today," or "The way this happened, I was so mad," or "Kay told me a story about Tylee and she was a little bitch." God knows, we don't know. Why would she say those things? We don't know.
We don't know.
We're
We
just
don't
left-
know. Yeah, we don't know the context, and of which because there is a conversation that takes place between that Melanie Gibb talks about, where Lori referred to Tylee. Excuse me, let me correct myself. Melanie Bangs Gibbs, she called Tylee that. She had some unkind things to say about Tylee.
Yes, she did.
So is it possible that there's some type of that's been convoluted? I don't know. When Chasing says things, I know she doesn't just talk out of her ass to hear herself talk. So am I inclined to listen and believe the way that Chasing is explaining it? Yes, I am. But I wouldn't
Me
be
too.
me if I didn't just put that little other part in there too, just cause.
Right. No, yeah. And Kresha says this: people need to know this part of the story. It's why I sided with Lauren to begin with in her 9-hour video. She said, so the woman who dressed as my family's killer for Halloween mean girled my ass, and I was the one apologizing to her for using her photo in my video. Hindsight was so mean and wrong. So do you have a video up about this that we can share?
Yeah,
So
Prussia.
people can go look, and I can.
They're not celebrities. Yeah.
No, and that's the thing that people, I think, forget. They're just like regular everyday people who something extraordinarily evil and horrific happened to.
It is a very strange thing.
But it's hard
It
to.
is.
I can see where
Thank
that
you for
line
that.
would be crossed. I could see how or blurred.
Watching somebody like Kay show such strength, then meeting her at CrimeCon, is it like meeting a quote unquote celebrity? I don't know what it's like. It was, for me, very humbling to just be able to talk to her. And the court case hadn't happened yet. They had the bracelets that I still have, the justice bracelets, and they just wanted to talk, and I think that's what a lot of families go to places like CrimeCon for: awareness, to talk, to have people, to know people are hearing them, and they don't want their cases forgotten about either.
Right. To know that there are people that will always remember, that will always care. That's got to be very impactful. I think if I were a family member of a murdered victim, I think that would be important to me, that my loved one isn't forgotten about. Their story mattered. They mattered. People care.
Yeah.
I think that would be important.
Shay
You
makes
know?
a
But some
really good point in the chat too. Even Brandy Neal was in chat, and Grayson chose to pin the Vallow, Daybell, Woodcock families' comments and chat, and I felt they were used. They absolutely were. When she she pinned Colby and Brandy Neal. There are other people who've probably been your subscribers for way longer, right? People who are really there to support you, who really care and have a vested interest in you being okay. But you were posting the people that people would notice. And it's kind of gross.
It's gross.
Yeah.
Yes. Jinx, it's gross. We both said it
is
at the same time
gross.
because there's just no other word that comes to mind. But I just want to say, because Kresha, I hope you make that video and I'll definitely share it. And she says that it's totally normal the way that you felt, but there's a more exploitative side. And I just want to say, that's because, as sick as it is, these people feel like some people, if they can buddy up to or have one of these, of a case that blew up your parents, Chris Proudfoot, on their panels or on their just different people, or
you become the popular channel.
Death.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, then you're the popular channel, and then it'll get views, money, and attention, and that's what it comes back to. And
I couldn't do it. I just could never do it
either. If that shit ruled my world, I would feel like just the most biggest pathetic piece of shit, and I'm so thankful that shit don't rule my world. But
yeah, I think for me,
let it for sure.
Yeah, I think for me, and I'm not judging the people that do host family members on their channel. That's not my place. But for me,
using them is different than hosting.
Using them, yeah, you're right. But I'm what I am
with the inside information.
That's true.
I just got off the phone.
That's true.
So
that's true. That's wrong as hell and gross.
We just had lunch yesterday.
Right. That is gross. I don't think I could ever. I know I could never do that, only because for me, the way I run my channel is about the victims. And I don't say that like my channel's about the victims. Okay. No, not like that. I think the way that you tell or that you honor the victims is you tell the truth. You tell the truth about what happened to them and who did it without being salacious, without being exploitative. I try my very, very best. That's why this
voice, if you can.
Yeah. I just want people like that's why this next part is taking so long for me. One, my back is hurting and I can't sit in a chair for very long. So editing is a bitch. But also with Ed Gein, everybody know, and we don't get me wrong, we don't know a lot about Ed Gein, but relatively speaking, right? But there's even less known about his victims. And I have scoured and scoured and scoured every resource that I know because I wanted to tell you guys about the women that he killed. I can't tell you a lot about the women that he exhumed because he doesn't remember and they can't identify them. But I wanted to tell you guys who these women were. They were not just Ed Gein's victims. Unfortunately, there isn't any, I can't find anything else. And so what I have, I'm just going to have to put it together and put it out for you guys. But that is my point. It's like trying to tell I think that's how you honor the victim is to tell the truth of what happened. Not,
that's true.
You know,
and not unalive and all that shit. Oh God, don't get me started. On
YouTube lets you say murdered, by the way.
Yes.
Lets you say killed. You don't have to,
you can say anything, even sexual assault. You could, you might lose some of your AdSense, but
you're giving me the face, Sally.
And
What are you
usually we
talking
won't.
about?
It doesn't.
You're
even
never allowed to say those words.
I've always said all the words. It doesn't affect. Well, maybe that's why my channel stinks, actually. But honestly,
so weird. They used a pointy thing to unalive the victim of the alleged.
Pointy
Right,
thing.
can you imagine if we went live and I can't and if I did a video about Ed Gein and I was like, well, he went to the place where they bury the people who are no longer living. I mean, what the fuck? No, let me tell you what Ed Gein did. He took his ass to a cemetery and dug up graves. He's a sick twist. That's who he was. That's what he did.
Hold on. What Kresha just posted. The channel now also springboarded off my family's murders.
Oh, and that's true.
Away.
That is true, though. I will say that case.
Ask that question of anybody, but truly, what is that? Oh shit. Lauren has never asked for an interview with me. I'm B class victim. Y'all get it? Bitch, I'm done.
We get it, Crusher.
See,
Well,
my God. What must that
How does that feel? Well, how does that
Yeah.
make you feel, Crusher?
like watching your family on the YouTube, watching somebody else like Lauren, Allie, me, whoever, tell the story, the Vallow story, trying to tell Ryan's story or whoever. I have felt invisible.
oh my God, that just hurts my gut. Like it just, ugh.
It hurts
I don't
my
think
heart.
I've ever really truly sat and thought about that part of it. The closest victims, and they're suspects, are Dawn and Candace. And I was more worried about Summer, but Crusha's family is gone. And
Ava. God. I'm so sorry, Crusha. And
I'm
I hope,
sorry that
listen,
you
let
were
me tell you,
treated that way. It's wrong.
I know you probably don't want it, but anytime you ever want my channel or platform or have something to say and you need a place to do it, you are welcome to do it here anytime, ever.
Well, since Allie's going to be all professional and offer the platform for you to tell your story, you come on over to my channel and we'll roast the shit out of Lori Vallow. How about that? And Melanie Gibb. Fuck both them putas.
Yeah, I never really looked at it that way. That's got to be extremely to watch your own story, part of it, play out on YouTube where people are getting maybe the facts wrong or we're telling it wrong or we think we know everything and we really don't. That's very difficult. I can imagine.
Okay. I was going to end it, but I want to drop the link just because I think it'd be wrong if I don't offer. If she does want to come up and say something, you don't have to. And if you don't, that's totally fine. Just though, in case you did or something, I just want to make sure that you can get it because you're part of it. We're sitting here responding to our chats and stuff. And I just think,
Yeah.
So sorry. Nobody can tell your story better than you can.
For sure.
I know. Even when I just hear people talk about my hometown, like when they talk about the Whitakers and stuff, and they get they pronounce the roads wrong and stuff like that, I feel some type of way. So I cannot imagine something so your loved ones, something so close and important to you and precious to you like that.
Yeah.
Much appreciated, ladies. It's no fault of your own, of course, but with Lauren, I have felt invisible because it's like I didn't fit her narrative. Maybe she's intimidated by me. I don't know. We'll never know, likely. Well, maybe it's for everything happens for a reason, and maybe it's better. Maybe it's like Shay said, maybe she is, but you keep speaking your truth and yeah, if she is intimidated of you, then that's a good thing because you're a badass.
Your story is important and people want to hear it, Crusha. And I do think that this is true crime content creators are like a buffet. Okay, we come in all kinds of flavors. Some of us taste better than others, and I'm gonna leave it there. Just whenever you get frustrated, whenever you feel like, oh my God, what the F is true crime doing? Remember how huge YouTube is. It's huge. It's huge. There are really good, caring, that do actually care, not lip service. I care about the victims. Actually do care.
She said that they said it better than she can. Some YouTubers use family members as a stair step, and I'll leave it at that. It's disgusting.
I just read something on X, not even to change the subject, but this sucks because we mentioned him earlier, but Nerdy Addict. Sober House has asked me not to return. Trolls used my previous post from X to contact management and complain. What bravery these people have, hiding behind troll emails trying to throw roadblocks in my recovery. This started after the at night stream. So October 22nd at 5:04, there's a resident named Allie taking pictures and videos of other residents, sharing information about what's going on in the house and using it as clickbait for his social media. So he had posted, like, oh, the sober house is crazy, there's crazy stuff. And he posted like a birthday photo with like a service to hug. And that was it. And trolls contacted and kicked him out. They kicked him out.
Look, you see, it
Disgusting.
never ceases to amaze me
Never.
that human beings, this is why I don't really fuck with humans so much. I prefer the animals because, their behavior makes sense to me. Humans do not. We have such a capacity. Imagine if somebody took that amount of energy it took to do what they just did.
To do something good.
Right? To do something good.
Never.
What a difference it would really make. Son.
I hate Krisha.
Can I just say though, Krisha, I encourage you, keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people understand their impact sometimes, and even subscribers who are a big part of it. Keep talking about it, and
I think telling it, from her perspective, and saying, from years of watching this happen, here's how I've felt, and that might give us something to work with in the future, because some of us do give a shit. Who are in true crime. We really do want to know how to act better, because some of us think we know everything, and we're telling Chad Daybell's story or whoever's, and we don't really know.
No. I can tell you this: when I watched Chad Daybell's trial, my observations about his face, his attire, his attorney, all the testimony were accurate and hilarious. That's all.
Lori's terrible hairdos and makeup.
Right? Or when Letitia was on trial and she looked like they had outfitted her in the Motel 6 line of court attire. She looked like she was wearing Mima's couch cover. It was terrible.
Girl, bye. You're so crazy.
But no, I'm going to keep sharing the links of the panel guest and Krisha. Please go over there and subscribe. We should all be listening to her.
I listen to you all the time, Krisha. I don't always chat. I'm a lurker nowadays. I find myself lurking far more than I do chat, but I do listen
everywhere. Yeah. And thank you guys for coming up and going through this with me. And I just appreciate both of your wisdom and the other ladies that were up here and your research and your time. So thank you so freaking much.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Jen has always been the best roaster, especially of the Gib.
And I can't stand her ass. I can't. I don't know how Nate Eaton did it. I don't know how that man sat across from her in that orchard or wherever the hell they were. And she was just, well, I'll tell you, Nate, fuck off, Gib. Fuck completely. I would have shoved her. I would have been like, just shut up. I would have shoved her. I would have.
Oh, there went. She said, I'm going to hop off. I have to wonder, is there a way? I just hope there, I never want to make somebody feel like that. You know what I mean?
Me either.
God, never.
Me either. But I will say this: if I ever have, please email me. If I have ever told the story wrong, if I've ever left out something that you want me to say, tell me. Email me.
Yes, and we'll fix it. And also approachable. We're also approachable. But no, I'm serious. I just never want to make someone feel that way. I want to, I know a lot of people, a lot of families want the stories told too, but they just want it done in a respectful way and showing them respect first. And I just want to make sure that I'm doing that.
Okay,
and
now I have a question for you. Before we end it, how much of a rash of shit do you think we're going to get for this live on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being a few, disgruntled comments in the comment section, to 10, full blown, you suck, you're evil human beings. What do you think?
I don't care. I don't think much.
I hope people
Yeah.
take it with the
None.
spirit in which it was intended, that it is a discussion, that we're not invalidating how Lauren feels. I don't know how she feels. I'm not her. I'm not
Right.
her. And even if I had even if I'd had the exact same experience as she did, our lives are different. There's chances are I've had experiences she hasn't, and she's had experiences I haven't, which alter our perceptions and perspectives. So I'm not saying, I'm not invalidating her feelings. What I am saying, and I want to say this for the last time, then I'm going to shut the fuck up and let Allie say goodbye to you guys, is I think there's other legal remedies available to both parties, quite frankly. And I just don't think that the behavior as has been described is actual stalking. Is it wrong? Yes. But is it stalking? No. And some of it's not even illegal, unfortunately. And if if you're upset by that, I don't make the laws. Okay. So if you're upset by that, then maybe rather than yelling at me or leaving negative comments on Allie's post or on Allie's live, maybe the better thing to do would be to look into how we get laws changed, so that because I will say that the laws are very, very far behind technology, and they don't understand, really, they haven't caught up with the internet and all the things that you can do on the internet, good and bad. And so maybe I would suggest that the anger and, needing to do something be directed that way. Just a thought.
Yeah, I also don't want to invalidate her, and I know, like I said, it's hard to hear things about you that aren't nice and stuff like that, whatever. And but I'm with Amber. She's like, you can't use the court to silence critics. And also, like, the messages thing sits wrong with me. And I think, like, it's fair to have these conversations. If you come out there and make a splash of 400,000 views, okay, on that first video, 9 hours like that, and then all the things that have happened after, I think it's fair to discuss all these things, including the text messages, because they brought that up in the live many times. And yeah, I don't want to invalidate anybody, but also I'm like, this is a mess. And I'm sorry, there's a lot of people who go through serious safety hazards in their life, like with other people are safety hazards for them, or however you want to say that. They have serious safety concerns, okay? And that's what those things are for, in my opinion. That's just in my opinion. But when you're in physical danger, when you are in fear for your safety, your physical safety, not your mental health, not somebody judging you and getting you upset, but like you're scared of, so that's all.
Right.
And I love the conversation. I loved hearing all sides. I'm so glad that Kresha joined. She said, I recently uncovered the Visions of Glory guru that met with Chad. Julie and Tim Ballard was using mind control.
Interesting.
That is super interesting. And also, I mean, the government even used stuff like that back in the day. So I really want to see what you got about that, because that's interesting.
Yeah. Because Allie and I have been trying to figure out, it's a thing for me. The Mormon connection is a big thing. I'm not going to lie. How they started it, because they weren't practicing mainstream Mormons. They were, doing some offshoot of that, but it just seems like it happens so much that there's these offshoots, and I just want to know how it gets to that point. That's all. I'm just interested in human behavior.
Yeah.
Because I do not understand y'all.
Same. I'm very interested in it too. And Kresha mentioned the evidence after she went back and looked. Go look at Chasing's live if you haven't yet, where she goes through the TikToks, because that's really she's fair. It's not like mine made up beforehand. It's all, let's look. Maybe there's more.
Right. Or like she'll say, okay, on this date, so and so said such and such. On this date, so and so responded such and such. It's just like, it's like that. It's not even really a lot of opinion. It's mainly just putting out the facts.
Yeah.
No, Chasing is really cool, calm, and collected on when she goes
And-
over things like that.
And please check out all the channels up here, you guys. And Bendy, thank you for doing this
Thanks
with
for
me.
coming. Thanks for having
I-
me.
I'm going to let you go. I have a million other thoughts, but instead of like stumbling over all of them because they're not super clear, I'll just end it. Even though
Oh, babe.
I'm going to let you know, I could sit here and go on and on.
Maybe
and
we
on,
should have
but
a
I'm
follow
not.
up. Let's do it. Maybe
I'm
we'll do a
holding back.
follow up. I haven't been live in a while. Maybe we'll do a follow up. I just got to figure it out. I got the nuggie for the next few days.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be a lot happening. So
I
Oh,
want to
shit.
listen to that art. This is what I'd like to do if you're willing. That I'd like to really go over that audio. I kind of want to. I want to understand that case. I want to take the people out of it. The names
that was
out
released
of it.
today.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to
Do
take
it. I'm down.
the
I'll
people
do
and
it.
the names out of it and just look at the core facts of this case, because y'all know I love a trial. And
Put
we're
your
not going to
thoughts
get
in
a
it.
trial.
I let it comment. I'm down to do that. I'm down. I listened a little bit earlier, and yeah, I'm down. Again, that little clip I played. Let's just play it one more time. And
One
I'm
more
gonna let
time,
you go.
because it was really
Yeah.
profound.
I agree, and it's yeah. Again, I'm not gonna stumble. I'm just gonna shut the fuck up. Hold on. Here we go.
Stop. You don't. This is not, again, a stalking injunction is not a remedy for shutting down speech that a person doesn't like something saying about it. It seems like that's what you're trying to do in this case. Well, you're right, or I would argue that, again, she's just saying that.
So yeah, I think that audio would be enlightening. So I think we should do that.
I think we should. I'll try to figure out how to do it. But before I do anything else, let me get that second part of Ed Gein. You guys, I did a really cool thing. I think you're going to be proud of me this time. It's just taking a little longer because I've messed up my back and it's really hard to sit in this chair. I've been standing and sitting this whole live. So anyway.
I'm dropping your links right now.
Well, I appreciate that, hot stuff.
Oh shit, what did I do?
Kicked me behind stage. Rude. Rude and disrespectful.
Sorry.
Locked entirely.
All right.
We can't be friends. I'm exposing you. All the chats are coming out, y'all. Every time Allie sent me a message and said, "Hey, Bendy, does this match?" Hey, Bendy, try this snack. That's the shit you're going to get. Be ready.
Yeah, that's true. It damn sure ain't gonna be talking about no damn freaking family members of
Hell no.
the victims.
Hell
Come on,
no.
man.
And I send and all I do is talk shit about Mac and Alice. I tell Allie all the time, man, if Mac don't quit following me around screaming at me because he hates he needed to lose weight. Y'all would be so proud of Mac. He has a neck now. He is looking so svelte. I'm so proud of him.
Oh, Carrie.
But he is big mad at me.
Well,
Big
he's
mad.
always big mad.
He stays salty with me though, because I can't never get it right with him.
You guys got to know that Jen was being so real. That's literally what our messages look like. Jen, does this match?
Yeah. Hey Jen. Hey Bendy. Try this snack.
Usually
It's
Bendy,
fucking
yeah.
delicious. Bendy. Have you tried this? Have you seen this? Look what I'm eating, Bendy. Because Allie knows that I will move heaven and earth for a good snack.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Amber.
Happy
birthday. His 1-year-old birthday is today. Happy birthday. It's 11/11. Make a wish.
Make a
I'm
wish.
I have to end it on 11/11 and I'll talk to you on the other side. Good
All
night,
right.
you guys.
Good
Have
night,
a
you
good
guys.
night. Thank you
Bye.
for being here. Bye.